I was, yeah, I told her, I'm like, I pulled her aside away from my kids. I'm like, this is a dick joke too far.
All right. Well, it's good to see everybody. Welcome back to the table. It's been a good minute. Hope you guys enjoyed the break. Yeah, I'm excited for Theros. Thanks for all kind of being patient while myself and other DMs and everything start putting everything together. What I want to do is, before we kind of do something a little different tonight, is why don't we go around and just have everybody talk a little bit about who you're playing, but not in character, right? Like, I kind of want to know, and then not just like, okay, playing a satyr, bard, whatever. Kind of tell us, like, you all, because this is like one of the first games where I think everybody at the table has like built a character from scratch. So also with this, there being like new races, I kind of want to know why you chose your race, like what made you want to play this character, the race and class. Maybe tell us a little bit about if you chose a heroic feat or a supernatural feat and what that is. You can talk a little bit about like anything that's worth sharing, like that wouldn't be a secret to anybody else, right? Like if it's something you want to be a big reveal, probably don't tell anybody. But if you just kind of want everybody to know kind of like you're basically like inspiration for this character and who they are, share that as well. You can, if you, we can wait till we get into role playing where you can get down to the minutia of what you look like and how you act and all that. But yeah, I figured that would be fun to kind of go around.
What do you mean? We're all min-max now. We're all optimized.
I'm sure, but let me see if I missed anything. So yeah, if you chose a supernatural gift, if you chose a heroic feat, let's see. If you, I'd like to know if you worship any one or multiple gods, because remember this is Theros, so you can have allegiance or you can pay respects. Like for example, in Theros, there are people that will go and pay respect to Heliot for bringing the sun up, but they would also pay respect to Nilius for a good bountiful hunt, like meats and things.
Can we do that? Can we establish on how we're going to pronounce these god names real quick? Can we go through a quick one of those? Just run through the pantheon.
Heliot. So Heliot, what is it? Yeah, how do you guys pronounce them? It's for me. It's Nylia or Nilia.
I would call it Nylea. I don't know. Nylea.
We've got.
Troy's like, yes, that's how it works.
I'm looking at Troy and Josh right now.
We'll look at Troy to get confirmations.
Nylea is the goddess
it's like
of
World Poker. They're like,
Nylea. So Athreos.
Yeah.
Athreos. Ephara is the god of the police of the city. Erebos, god of death. Heliot, god of the sun. Iroas.
That right?
That one right?
That's a tough one.
Iroas, yeah.
I'm just going to go.
All right, that's what we're going with.
Iroas, yeah. Iroas is god of victory. Iroas is pretty much Mogus and Iroas are twin brothers. Yeah, and one is a centaur, or looks like a centaur. The gods or whatever they form to be, and Mogus is.
So no, he is a centaur. He just has a bovine body instead of a horse-like body.
Okay.
We learned what bovine meant.
There it is.
You guys did good job.
Yeah. and so he has so that then Mogus is the one that looks like a minotaur, but they're like two sides of the same. They're like separate ideas of what war is. Mogus embodies all that, which is kind of carnage and slaughter, all of the death and the disarray that comes from war, while Iroas focuses more on the victory, the side, the being prepared for it, being prepared for the conflicts that you may have in life. So a lot of people even worship Iroas, even if they, or maybe pay nods to him, even when they're talking about being inspired for the day or hoping to have victory, hoping to have something go well. He's all about keeping the body in tune, athleticism. That's why they have the games in his honor, that kind of stuff. Why is this opening secondary? So we got then Karametra.
Yep.
Karametra is going to influence all of the
harvest,
the land and the harvest, wheat fields, produce, all that. Karanos, god of storms, known for being kind of ruthless in his nature as well. Him and Thassa, god of the ocean. but Kuranos can also inspire you. Like when people have ideas, when philosophers have moments of it's literally the lightning bolt idea, those sometimes come from Kuranos or attributed to Kuranos as well. And I will add, he's also, there's actually a lot of brown people in I actually like that about Theros, but Kuranos is definitely one of the ones that's for sure a brother. And so just
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Check out his like celestial card.
Yeah. it's really dope. Kind of the way they. I love this. Is like some of my favorite art for sure. So this is a tough one. Clothis. Clothis is god of destiny.
He's relatively new to the pantheon.
Okay.
He, she.
Yeah. I've heard people call the card her. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Okay, can see that. Then we have Krufix, which is kind of beyond the god of the horizon. So supposedly Heliod hates him because he may be the only god that knows more, or that actually knows all things. Kind of the god of secrets, gods of where things come.
So are those two gods above the rest of the pantheon then?
No god is. There's like argument.
Slightly is.
Yeah.
Krufix nudges everybody out almost.
Yeah. It just depends on if you ask another god, then they may say no. Right? Like that, particularly Heliod and his arrogant ass.
He'll never admit that anyone knows more than he does.
Krufix is the only deity that physically does not have an appearance.
Yeah. Just like you always see his arms outstretched, kind of looks like he's under a hood.
Yeah.
He looks like a DM.
Very traveler-ish.
And then
you don't get to see any features.
And then we're sticking with Nylea for God of the Hunt. And then Farika is God of Affliction. She kind of looks like a Gorgon. Farika?
That one? Farika?
She's kind of like God of she's even like, I think her name is like also a derivative of like a pharmakia or pharmaceutical. So she's like deals with all things medicines, drugs, poisons. Yeah. Disease. Yep. Phoenix is a god of he's the trickster. He's kind of like Loki, kind of deception. Yeah. He's was created as one of the returns, so he looks like he has a golden mask on his face, or he's depicted that way.
His story's awesome.
Yeah. Perforos, god of the forge. So Josh knows all too well that one. I'm sure.
Tap Krinko, bring in 50,000 goblins and deal so much damage to you. Magic the Gathering.
And then Thassa, like we said, Thassa's god of the sea or the oceans. So that's all of it.
She likes big sea creatures.
So what?
So she likes big sea creatures.
Yeah, for sure.
She likes the little ones too. Don't feel left out, Colin.
Magic Gathering, she just summons Krakens, bro.
You like them big.
Yeah.
Big wobbin 8/8 coming at your face.
Well, I'm hoping she summons one in this game at some point.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. We shall be avoiding boats until level 17.
It's all right.
Level
Already
20.
scarred.
Old man comes to you, was like, I would like you to take a trip across the islands. Jason's like, nope. Not going.
Like, can we get there by land? We can get there by land, yes. Land? Right.
So yeah, who wants to start? We can just kind of go around, kind of figure out who's everyone's playing. And I'll pick up your mini or push your mini to the front as you're talking, so everybody kind of see who you are in today's game. I know this is who wants to go first?
Highest roll?
Yeah, let's roll for initiative.
Let's do it. Let's roll for it. Roll initiative.
But flat D20s, no dex modifiers, no cheat.
I was gonna start picking by DMs because that's usually what I do. I just go either Renee or Nick. If you guys ever notice, whenever like, especially with new players, I always just call on a DM. Renee, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you've done this a million times.
17.
Throw it in chat.
Oh yeah, throw them in the chat. 11. Okay. 14.
All right, looks like Colin's going first, huh?
Good, man. man. Go for it.
Oh, you're serious? Okay.
More than that one.
Oh no, not one. I didn't even read it. I was like, I just heard him say. I guess
No, it's a.
it should be Proxinos if we're going by highest
Proxinos,
roll.
yep.
Are we going highest?
Okay, but I guess you would be want to go roll
it's
lowest because
initiative?
you kind of want to go by.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
Go first.
Yeah, we could go initiative. We could go initiative. Yeah. So go.
This is you guys' thing. You guys go however you guys want to do it.
Proxinos is a human with red hair, wears a very free-flowing toga, and one of the main things about him is that he is usually always sleeping, always seems very tired, and he has a fey presence about him. Something that just makes everyone feel relaxed or even want to doze off. He is also skilled with martial weapons. He knows how to use a sword and shield.
Nice.
He doesn't necessarily like fighting needlessly or senselessly, and he's a free spirit. He has worshipped Theros. From time to time.
And he is. You said maybe I missed class. Is he a?
He's a druid.
Druid. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
A circle of sleep.
Nice.
Interesting that he likes.
Does he do ASMR on the side?
He likes swords.
Got the ASMR voice going.
Yeah.
I like it. Pretty cool. And any heroic feat or
Fey
supernatural?
presence.
Big presence.
Yes.
I like him already. It's gonna be. I already know it's gonna be thoroughly interesting and gonna be a surprising. It's gonna be interesting for sure. So next up, I think is the 14 is Troy. No, Taroxos. And actually, we'll have to get these names. So Taroxis or Taroxos? Taroxes. Okay, good.
I am playing Taroxes, the Bronze Bull. He is an anvil-wrought minotaur forged in the fires of the mountain of Perforos.
You want to explain what anvil rots are too, for anyone that maybe not know what they are in this world?
He is very similar to a warforged. He's a construct, so he is not what most would consider a living being, but he is actually like forged almost like a weapon, but into a sentient being given life by the god Perforos. And he is a literal bronze bull. His skin is bronze, his hooves and horns are crafted of Stygian iron, and he is a fighter. Perforos is a god of forging, but also of like new ideas and creativity, but he constantly flits between new ideas, making things and then forgetting them and moving on. And so he created Taroxes just to prove to Mogus that he could build a better Minotaur than Mogus could. But after he was made, the next idea seized him, and Taroxes was almost immediately forgotten. But he remained in the forge, learning from one of the Cyclopses that worked for Perforos, the Cyclops Xanatos, who took Taroxes in and taught him how to fight, how to forge, and rune crafting. It's a powerful art shared amongst the greatest of Perforos' followers, which is why he is a fighter who has made it to level 3 with the subclass Rune Knight. So he can use the runes taught by the Cyclopses to create very unique effects in how he battles with his weapons. And so he is also a follower of Perforos, and one of his greatest goals is to gain enough glory to once again be worthy of the attention of his creator.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's almost like it almost reminds me of the story of like this, like the mini, one of the mini characters that we all create as D&D players, like, right, like one of them discarded, one of them kind of just thrown away, hoping to be played to get that glory. It was just kind of a random thought I had as you.
So he definitely thinks of Perforos as a very distant father figure, but he's much closer to his mentor Xanatos, who was the one who said, you can't stay here, you need to go out and be something.
And Xanatos is a Cyclops. Okay.
Yeah, I reflavored all the giant lore that would be in the Forgotten Realms and just made them into Cyclopses because it's very similar.
I like it. Yep, I'll be doing the same thing. There'll be a lot of monsters that get reflavored and things like that. So that's perfectly fine. Okay, pretty cool.
But a small fun fact is that he is very close to and traveling with Telmun at the beginning of this story.
And so speaking of that, why don't we just jump? Even though we're going in that initiative, don't we just jump over to Telmun? Like,
just make sure, brother, stay ready. Don't gotta get ready that way. So you get Telmun, you get son of Telamon, but you don't have to remember that part. He is a satyr sorcerer technically, but all you see from him is the fact that he's carrying a rapier and a shield. He does walk around playing his lyre at almost all times, but that's mostly just because it's something that his mother loved. So he's just doing it in memory of her. She's still alive, but due to an unfortunate accident, Telmun lost all his memories from before he was 16. So his mother retaught him to play the lyre and to dance as if he was still in the revels. But really, he doesn't fully relate to that anymore. What he knows is being raised by a paladin of Perforos. And that's where he's been for the last few years until he was sent on a mission to figure out a disturbance in the mountains, which had turned out to be his buddy Tyroxes. And they've been traveling ever since. Telmun trying to teach him what he knows about the world, which is very little. And Tyroxes trying to teach Telmun how to fight without magical enhancements. So
nice. Very cool. I did retain when as a child I was a favored satyr running through the forest with Nylea's creatures playing the lyre, dancing. They loved me. I was in that. I was fully a satyr before I lost my memories. That's where I got my mobile feat from running with Nylea's creatures. And I am still partial to Nylea, but mostly just from what my mother still taught me. I'm mostly following Perforos right now. And I didn't ask anybody else this, but I brought it up before, so since I just thought about it, like, what made you kind of choose the satyr? Anything just as a player, like, anything particular about why you want to play this character? Or a couple things. I mean, it's such an interesting concept to be this character, to start off with that kind of bucks laws and is just living in the moment and free, but for me, that's really hard. So I gave myself a handicap so like I don't have to always live that way. But also, I kind of wanted something that felt like a little brother creature to whatever Josh was going to do. Yeah. And seeing the big Minotaur who's all bronze to this little satyr who's like half bronze and iron because he has a metal arm and a metal. That's pretty cool. Yeah, he's got like I felt like it would have fit right. That's really dope. Actually, I didn't even think about those two things. How you guys both have this kind of like partial bronze, or he's all bronze. You're like this partial bronze. Even the color schemes. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, love it. Let's see. Should we go Nikki next? Apodexis is 11 as well, but why don't we let him off Fitz? Let's hear.
Yeah, okay. I'm playing a satyr bard named Fitz. She's named that because she's part fainting goat, so if she gets a little too spooked, she will tip over. I don't
We
know
have to
how
come
you
up with
want
a
to handle
ruling
that.
for that. Yeah.
I was thinking maybe it would just be like a wisdom save or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be whenever you fail either stealth, like if you fail something where you get surprised or a loud noise or some sparks, or she'll make a test.
You hear Nikki try to choose a stat she's good at.
Actually, I have +0 to a wisdom save,
Oh,
so it would
wow.
just be
Never
a
mind.
straight roll.
That's crazy.
I love it.
She is lost. The most dominant memory that she has is this long revel that her family has been participating in for she doesn't even know how long, like as long as she can remember. She's pretty sure that they're going for a world record, like pretty sure. But she saw something shiny and wandered away from the revel and has no idea where they are now. So she's looking for her family. And isn't particularly tied to any one god in particular. And I think that's as much as I want to reveal.
Sure.
But I do have a picture.
Oh yeah. That's really cool. That's great. Love it.
Very nice.
So dorky and
I can't wait to see how you play her.
As goofy as I can make it. I think just a complete flavor switch from Strahd that was that got a little dark, which was fun. But I'm ready to just be obnoxious.
Okay.
And free. I think in a way that my other character Rexy is not.
Okay.
Because she's obnoxious in a different bloodthirsty kind of way.
This is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had a lot of bad influences around her.
Just a bit. I'm looking forward to
She's fully the bad influence.
I think she might be.
Apodexis. Let's find out, Renee. Let's find out what we got going on.
So Apodexis is Leonin, and he's a ranger. And I figured it made the most sense. They would be patrolling the prides of Rescos. But what made me want to play him was the fact that they could either be iconoclasts, and I figured, like, what would happen if you found a Leonin who had seen something that they should maybe not have?
Renee, sorry to cut you off,
changed.
but I think you kind of have that thing going on with your games where it goes. Is it just me? Is it kind of drops in and out sometimes?
Is it dropping?
Maybe, yeah. Just
is that better?
Usually you just kind of crank it up a little bit and it's good.
Cool. How's that?
Sounds good. So yeah,
right.
I'll let you know if you keep talking. It's good. Yeah.
Actually. Okay. Cool. So I was saying that it made sense for me to make him a ranger. So he's patrolling the Rescos, the lands, but then he saw something he shouldn't have, and it kind of changed his mentality of what the gods really are. So he had seen someone, one of the pride who had just died. He recognized their body shape. And watched as Erebos's hand brought them back. They had become returned. And so he just watches this giant hand from a cave just bringing them back in. And so he wanted to know what's going on. And that's where he started to learn that the Leonin like to make sure that there's balance in nature, and the returned don't fit in that sense. So unbeknownst to the rest of his family, he has become a follower of Erebos. And his main concern is bringing the return back to where they need to be.
Interesting. Like it. All right, good stuff. Do we want to go Troy with Zen?
Well, first off, the reason I wanted to play Centaurs because always wanted to play this class since it came out, and this is the perfect time to do it. And plus side, nobody fucking picked this race besides me. So I was like, I gotta do it. I'm playing Zen. He is a very young centaur. He comes from a big family. He's technically half fairy and half Lagonan, because his father was a fairy and his mother is a Lagonan. He is a young free spirit who loves to just run full throttle in open fields and
Are you smiling for the same reason I am, Renee? No. We're all trying to figure out how that happened. Like, sorry. Okay, go ahead. It's like
I didn't mean to interrupt. I just
Yeah,
it came to me.
I think everybody's mind was like, things that make you go.
Yes, his father is very Genghis Khan.
All right.
So he's a very young, free-spirited, loves to go full throttle whenever he can. Most of the time he does it regardless of what's going on. Just loves to run wild. The one thing that's special about him is on the union of his parents having him, it was on an eclipse, so he has his shadow lingers behind him a little longer than it should. That will come out in the game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He has 11, 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 12 half brothers and sisters. Yeah, I told you, Genghis Khan, his dad. So they are named the children of Nyx because his father has lineage to one of the first satyr or centaurs ever created by the gods. He's the youngest of the group, which means he's very young in general, and he's a little naive when it comes to things. Doesn't know city manners too well since he was raised in the wilds. And his only attribute he really has over most other centaurs is he is fast as hell.
I am excited to see him in action. Anything else before I move on? I think the last but not least would be Pythias, who's played by Colin.
Yeah, so I'm playing Pythias. Where to start? Pythias is a Triton paladin, and I guess also in the change from Curse of Strahd, I wanted to play as someone who's more like open. It's just kind of like wants to learn from all sides. So Pythias is relatively young for a Triton, and maybe a little naive, kind of like Zen, but probably not going to be as reckless. I kind of see Pythias as being the straight man, and pardon the pun, but being the fish out of water, where like a lot of things that are normal to you are going to be strange to him. He is, let us see, because he's a Triton and he literally lives in the ocean. Of course he worships Thassa, but that's mostly because he lives in her domain. I mean, the Tritons know of other gods, but she's the most important. But one of the things he wants to explore is what are all these strange gods that other people worship, other people revere. What else to say about him? I'll be open about it. He is on a mission. One of the things with the Tritons is people, like humans especially, trespass on their area because humans use the ocean. Tritons regard that as their territory. And as I understand it, at times they kind of throw tantrums and literally go up on their land and poach and hunt or make raids just to be like, ha, showed you. But that's not really effective. So he's part of an effort to reach out into the land and figure out like how can we compete on an equal playing field.
Very cool. Yeah.
And I did take the heroic feat or heroic destiny.
Heroic destiny. Okay. Nice.
So he has. I think that I'm just imagining it as the gods have some plan for him that he doesn't know about yet.
And I know some of these things. Have you guys noted all of these in? I haven't had a chance to go back and check, but are they noted in your character sheet on D&D Beyond? As long as they are, make sure you put anything that you want me to make sure that when I'm reviewing your character, I can find it there, maybe in the notes or wherever. Very cool. Well, do you guys need a bathroom break or like anything? You need a couple minutes before we get started, or should we jump in? Okay. All right.
I think it's really cool that like we kind of independently, like all our characters are some combination of young, naive, and new-ish to everything.
Yes.
Because I didn't mention in mine, but like Zen and Pythias, like Taroxy's is probably like 3 years old if you're counting time, and has lived his life in the forges, so he also has no idea how human society works. So
Yes.
he's been attempting to learn from Telmoon, who is not the greatest teacher because of the memory loss. So it very much is also a fish out of water kind of thing.
I love
yeah.
it. And I'm glad that no one created a
Taking the top
character that was like, I used to be a champion that killed 3 hydras, and then I lost all my power. And it's a really good way to start. I like all of it.
I'm just gonna have to be careful that anytime that I catch wind of Pythias, that it's that fish smell, man. He's gonna be like,
okay, well, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. This will be like 1 minute, and then we are gonna start this thing, get it going. Good stuff.
I'm excited, guys. Should be a good
Yeah,
one.
me too. I'm so stoked. I'm stoked. It's nice to hear everyone talk about their characters instead of like scrolling on text like this big on Discord, trying to figure out what y'all are saying.
Funny though, that means Proxenos is also sword and void, so we might only have like 1 or 2 ranged basic main ranged fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to go
Proxenos
shopping
is a-
for some ranged weapons.
I mean, I think
I
I have a
only have a
javelin.
sword.
Oh,
I'm fast. I can be fast. I can get
you
there.
get one shot with that javelin.
Bro, I have
Pick
so
it back
many
up on the way.
weapons. I have a halberd, a maul, 2 hand axes, my horns.
Any weapon is ranged if you believe hard enough.
If somebody is strong enough to toss him,
All I'm saying is, Nick, if you ride me, buddy, you better have a good strength score.
I have a negative at 1.
You're
I
gonna
think
fall off.
Eric is also a druid, so we have like
He
2
is. So he's
spellcasters.
a true ranged spellcaster as a Circle of
Okay.
Stars druid.
Is he?
But,
What race is his?
I think he's Leonin.
Okay, because
He did go human, right? He didn't mess us up. He didn't mess up Proxenos'.
That's what I was trying to
token
tell. It's
status.
like, literally, we've gotten Theros to the point where it's like in any other setting, it's like, oh, this party of humans has 1 goblin. That's really cool. This party, it's like, oh, there's a single human to interface with the rest of this human-dominated society. This is gonna be great.
And we'll have to wake him up every time we want him to do it.
Probably the worst character you would want to try and interact with people if that's the case. You're just gonna be asleep.
Always use that roar then has to wake him up.
And I love how unique the party composition is. It's just super cool.
Yeah, we're gonna take some time to figure some things out, I'm sure, because we're all so. I had naive written on mine too,
oh no,
so this is gonna.
we're gonna
Yeah,
get tricked by so many people.
she's like lost. She doesn't know what's going on.
It's okay. As long as we don't talk, we're really intimidating. So hopefully people are scared to trick us. As soon as we start speaking to people, that's the problem.
Well, that's what I was thinking of. Like, if that ever comes up, I was gonna ask Malcolm. It's like, there's a rule in the book that's like, I can use strength for intimidation. That's way better than my charisma. Can I be like?
If you flex on somebody, that's more of a strength intimidation than a charisma intimidation, right?
I've got rippling bronzed muscles, literally.
And they'd be
They,
like,
like,
we want
gleam in the
directions
sun."
that way.
Please.
Am I the most intelligent character in our party?
Most likely.
More than
Much
that.
more
I
than
have a
I have-
negative one.
I have three eights. Three, fellas. This should be
Same.
Oh
fun.
no.
I am also min-maxed.
Oh,
Let's do
God.
it.
My stats are as follows: 17 strength, 15 dex, 16 con, 8.
Now, oh, you're 8 all intelligence.
I went
man.
8 on charisma, so yeah.
I went
Oh,
8
man.
on strength and 8 on constitution.
You know, I think Nick is the only high. That's going to be hilarious too, because Fitz is now going to have to be like the face of the party.
Yeah.
I can convince people.
Oh, yeah,
Somewhat.
Pythias is also charisma.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm just
Bard is
Low
full
intelligence.
charisma.
All right, let's do it. And just to let you guys know, I did take into account all of that, the catching up, the going over the characters. So tonight's game is going to be about 2 hours. Might even be a little bit less, just to get us. Like I said, it's a session 0. It's not a long, crazy, big thing. So, but it should still be. I'm hoping you guys will still have a lot of fun. Okay. I am going to, Josh, probably, I'm going to say this so Josh knows, and anyone who knows who I'm recording. I recently started listening to the Will Saves podcast, and I'm going to take literally just letting you guys know you guys are awesome, and I come to stealing this opening from you because I really just like the way you guys did that. So what I'm going to ask you all to do is close your eyes for me. And as you do that and hold them closed, till I ask you to open them, I want you to allow your mind to drift a bit with me. I want you also to settle in that darkness. And as that darkness begins to settle, you should begin to see slight color separations. Maybe swirls of purple, possibly little dots begin to appear like stars in a night sky. Now realize that you are in a space made up of nothing but space, nothing but a night sky full of constellations, colors, and gases mixing like something you might see in a late sunset or an early sunrise. There is no land, just a nebula. And this, I want you to understand, is the Nyx. It is the dreamlike substance that makes nothing everything. The world that the beings of mortals call, the beings that the mortal call gods, it is their world. It is where those gods come from. Now look into those stars all around you. Start to connect them, and you might even get a glimpse of an all-powerful being, possibly silhouetted in that space. Now from that night sky, you might slowly begin to drift down, slowly but surely coming down onto water, and beyond that water, land. And as we push over it, you may now open your eyes. This is Theros, this land you see before you. It possesses a unique metaphysical property. Things believed and dreamed here eventually become real. The collective conscious of the mortal people has the literal power of creation. Though the process unfolds over the course of countless centuries, thus the gods of Theros and their servants are all created, made of beliefs, sacrifices, and devotions given over the ages. The gods formed and gained lives just as real as the mortals who dreamt them into being. Does that mean these gods of Theros are any less powerful or any less divine? No, not at all. Once dreamed, a belief in Theros becomes reality. It is just as real as any other thing, and the gods have been real for a very long time. The people of Theros believe in them to be divine, ageless, and all powerful, and therefore they are. So now, we welcome you to this land, to this place. As we push down across the land, we see a small caravan that we settle on. This is the normal caravan that goes to and from Melitus to Akros weekly. The group we see here is traveling to the Acroian territory up north. This group is probably taking fish northward, stonework, fabric, things that the Acroians would feed from Melitus. You are here in this party, or in this caravan. Maybe you took this as a job to protect the caravan, to make a few extra gold. Or maybe you're going because the Iroian games, the qualifying games, are happening this month. The month of Halidrisian, equivalent of April. The official games will happen next month at Therieldian, which is essentially May. Which is the month of Iroas. So, as you travel, or maybe you were going to the games, maybe you plan to join the games, maybe you plan to just go and watch them, or maybe you have some other reason to be in the city. The party that is, the caravan that is with you is a little bit larger than usual because there are people that are going, though, to those games. There are at least a handful of carts, merchants' carts with 2 to 3 personnel. And then there is a handful of families, old and young, that are traveling to Akros. There are even a few satyrs in the party, non-humans, as Akros during the games opens up their doors to all people, even though they are a bit standoffish to races at any other time throughout the year. As we push in, as we meet you all, what do we see you doing? I will turn it over to the party.
Well, Telmoon would be just mindlessly strumming his lyre while skipping around his buddy Taroxys as we walk. Not really keeping an eye on anything. He trusts Taroxys to let him know if there's any danger, so just enjoying himself as we go.
And you guys can all hear music and sound, right? Okay, just checking.
Yes, yeah.
In the back of one of the carriages, you see a red-haired man sleeping. It looks like some kind of makeshift pillow and a wooden sword by his side.
Wooden sword, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said in one of the carriages?
Yes.
Okay. And I imagine that you, maybe over the early day, one of the merchants, an old man that goes by the name of Itanus, or Itanus, he do you think that, like, seeing as you didn't bring your own cart this time or carriage, do you think you would have probably offered pay, or would you have just asked to ride in the cart? Kind of flashbacking what happened. How did he get that space? You simply asked the old man. Yeah, and the old man basically said yes. He did want to. He had a feeling that you might have a little money, and he said he'd be willing to let you ride the whole way for 5 gold pieces. Did you oblige?
Sure. Money is only for an instance.
And so he accepted, and the old man Itanos has you, riding there on the back of the cart, so where we find him. I'll turn it back over to you, to whoever else may want to.
Taraxes is walking beside a cart, using this large halberd almost as a walking stick, as he is very alert, looking around semi-constantly, taking in the landscape and the measure of the others in the caravan, silently judging those who he deems as whether they are threats, whether they are simply curiosities that he's never seen. Very much just taking the time to think to himself and try to focus while Telman fancily prits and prats around him.
Fitz is like walking near that cart and noticing Telmoon.
Oh,
That's oh no. That's also a satyr. She's gonna like inch in and then try and trip him
oh God.
doing his fancy dance.
So as she tries to trip you, why don't you give me a?
That's an 11 on a deck save.
Yeah, give me a acrobatics check from you. Fitz.
Acrobatics.
No, you're gonna do the deck save. You're still gonna do a deck save, Telmoon. But what she rolls is what you're gonna have to beat.
That's an 18.
Oh.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and text something really quick. Okay. 11 on the deck save, but a nat 20 on the acrobatics check for 25 to turn that into a glorious front flip roll. Might be a little dirty, but I'll play it off.
Nice. Yeah, so you jump up, you try to act like nothing happened. Your liar almost fumbles on one of your hand, but you catch it. There and look at this, the satyr like you that you've seen her over the past day or so. You guys, actually it's only a 2-day ride. So over the past, you guys are on your second day, and you're actually rounding out. It's late in the evening, and you are probably in the second time. Yeah, it's like this, as you can see, that's kind of sunset. It's late. It's almost sundown. Those stars are starting to kind of pop out. And in this world, once that sun goes down, what you see behind me is what the night sky looks like. It's like this nebula of just rolling gases and constellations. And often at night, you can see the gods that are out. Sometimes you might be able to see them if they're in your area, kind of moving through those stars. And so it's a spectacle to behold. Sometimes you might even see the silhouette when the sun is high in the sky because the sun is Heliot, and sometimes you'll see Heliot standing from where he's emitting that light. So yeah, coming up on the end of your journey now, and not much talking much to this satyr who just tripped you. What do you say or do there?
Telmoon will hold a hand up and back to Taraxes. It's like, don't worry, our people are mirthful in their playful tricks, but they're used to not having consequences. Hello there, young lass.
Oh my gosh, that flip was so cool. That was really, really cool. I wasn't expecting that at all. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I never see other people out that look like me. It's so much fun to see you and your little dance. It was great. I just had to try and get in. That was great. Hi.
Well, yes, I am most impressive, according to my mother. Do you go by a name, or?
Yeah. People call me Fitz.
Fitz.
What about you? What's your name?
Telmoon, son of Telamon, and the big guy here is Taraxes.
Oh, hi. Like gleam in the sun. That's really cool. What you guys do? So what's taking you to the city? And she's like skipping a little bit as she's walking.
Lori.
Oh, sure. Yeah. All right, that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're here to make a name for ourselves. How about you, young lass? You're looking for some protection, or you here by yourself?
I am by myself. I don't know if I was really in the market for protection, but hey, I'm really cool with that.
And as she says she's cool with that, we kind of quick flashback to another time. This is clearly in the past, somewhere else, and as we kind of pan through this forest. It's a very beautiful and bountiful forest. It almost has more vibrancy than anything in the natural that you would have come across. Little lights dance in the. It's like early evening, and these little lights dance, and you think they're like little magical dancing lights, but as you push closer, you realize they're fairies. You hear this wonderful music being played, and you see that there are satyrs and human just gallivanting and having a debaucherous time, running to and fro and chasing each other in their togas, and little wreaths on there are large, vases of wine that are being poured, and drinks and song, and all of it is being had. And what do we see Fitz doing in this moment? What is she doing at the party, at the revel?
She has a little piccolo that she's playing, and she's like almost tap dancing, if you could imagine it.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the hooves for it. It's perfect. And so she's just kind of like in her own little world, tap dancing in a circle with her little piccolo along with the rest of the group.
Nice. And the group is all having a good time, and Brosis is a young satyr around Fitz's age, and he sees her kind of dancing, and he runs up, and he's like, Fitz, are we more wine, please? More what? Here, I just came to refill. Are you drinking today?
I'm drinking every day. This is great.
Oh, goody good. Well, come on. And then there's like, he grabs your hand, and a whole group of other kind of satyrs and humans in a chain link, and they all grab hands. He kind of like leads you through, and everyone kind of starts, you kind of get being whipped through the crowd, as the dancing is happening. And you guys are running through this like field where these flowers, and so as you step on the petals, they kind of like burst up into the sky. So these kind of like violet petals that are falling all around. And he goes, isn't it just great? Like, we've been doing this forever. And it's just so much fun, right?
Oh my gosh, I really can't imagine doing anything else. This is quite delightful.
He's like, me either. And then he's like, but don't you ever wonder, when we're ever gonna take a break? Or kind of, sleep?
Oh, do you need a timeout? We could sit down and make more flower crowns if you want.
And he kind of stops, and it's almost like he almost looks like he wants to say, almost like he needs a timeout, but he's like, no, I don't need one of those. Who needs one of those? It's all fine.
Not me.
It's good. No, it's good. And he just kind of goes, actually, I'm gonna and he drops his cup, and it falls on the ground. He goes, well, I'm gonna go get some more. Can I get an insight check from Fitz?
That's a 2. Yeah, that's a 2.
Okay, and so whatever was going on with him, whatever that whole deal with him, you kind of wonder why he paused about, shouldn't he just want to enjoy this, what we're doing? But suddenly
It's just the best.
It's just the best. It is the best. There's nothing better than this. And suddenly she stops. There's like a blowing of the wind, and those petals kind of, and she looks over to the side. The forest almost seems to open in a very Hitchcockian way, and she can and seems to stretch before her, like all the branches, all the trunks forming a hallway. And as they do, she is kind of drawn to that towards where the forest is going. What does she do?
She is curious and she's gonna like poke her head down and then just kind of trot down the little pathway.
Over here, she hears like a voice say, but it's towards the tunnel.
Where? Marco!
Hello.
She's gonna follow it.
Hello. And then so she follows, and so she gets like right outside of range where she can hear the music of like, but suddenly like she seems like she went like, I don't know, 80 feet maybe. She should be right outside of earshot of seeing everyone. When she turns around, she doesn't see anybody there behind that. She swears she grabs the bush, just knowing that they're like, wherever they were, they're right there. And they're no longer there. And then when she spins around, she doesn't hear the music anymore. She doesn't see the people anymore. She doesn't see that where in that open space where the party should be happening. It's just a dark, like quiet forest. Not necessarily scary or foreboding, but just like any old night without anything happening in the woods.
Seems very boring. Marco!
And we watch her and we hear her saying Marco over and over as we fade to black and pick back up where she is now with Telmoon. Now Telmoon, you noticed for a second that she was just like a little gone, a little spaced. Do you say anything noticing that? Or if not, it's fine. We kind of can move on and anyone can jump in. But
Roxy's, watch this. We can cheer them up. Young miss, you're probably pretty good with an instrument, right? I wink over at Taroxys.
You mean this? And she pulls out her little piccolo.
We're all good with those. Yeah, we would like to hear you play if you don't mind.
She like takes the deepest breath and then just starts like wailing on it. Like a flogging Molly, the Devil's Dance floor kind of just wailing on it.
And would you say that she plays really well, or is she like, is it a little like harsh? Like, what would you say?
I think she thinks that she plays really, really well.
So why don't you give me? Can I have a performance? Can I have a performance check?
Telman was planning on hopping in with a melody, a little harmony, but that was more than what he was expecting.
It's gonna be a DC 11. Would you get 7?
It's a 10.
It's a
10.
10.
5 plus 5.
Okay.
Oh no.
So it doesn't sound bad by any means, but she's like kind of missing, like she's off on a few like kind of notes.
Some of them are squeaky.
Yeah. And as she's kind of playing this, Telman, because it's a little off, I don't know if it's a note or something, but that note suddenly kind of takes you back, and you flash back, and for a second we see
in the halls of Pandion in the forest?
No, we actually see Telmoon being carried by an older satyr, holding him motherly, and she walks him into this cave somewhere high in the mountains, and she's with other satyrs who are with her, and she brings him to this place, and when they put his body down, he is badly broken. He is armless on the I believe his left arm up to the elbow is gone. His horn is sheared completely off, and his eye is crushed and hanging out of his little socket, and he kind of slumps onto a slab of rock, and you hear you don't even see the figure, but someone looms over him, and kind of like, and the people are kind of like praying over him, and those, if you were discerning, you'd probably know they were songs or prayers of Nylea, being spun, magical green energy hovering over his body, but not seeming to be enough to keep him stabilized, or maybe just enough to keep him stabilized. And then you see that figure turn towards a great, silhouetted by a great forge of fire, and just start going ting, 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 and we just watch as he's clanging away with that hammer, his mother's face in like desperation, with tears in her eyes, like looking towards the fire. And we kind of fade back to Fitz playing her flute.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be the feel good moment right now, man. Okay. Yeah, Tillman will nod and appreciate it, and probably step back and not join in.
It's pretty
Just
great.
thinking.
I know. I hope you like. I'm just.
So can I jump in at this point?
Yeah, anybody can jump in.
Please.
No. So Pythias, you all have seen this guy walking with you, and he stands out. He's the only fish man in the caravan, and this whole time he's been kind of awkward. It's and has kind of like the bulging eyes. So you catch him staring at you, and it's a little awkward. But he kind of nods and smiles at people, but hasn't had the courage to talk to people yet. And this is where he decides it's time to break through. So he walks over and what? I'm going to take a guess that you're headed there for the games. I mean, this one is huge, and that flip was really impressive. Are you? Is that what you're doing?
Games? There are games? We're going for games. I love games.
We're here to gather glory and accolades wherever they are to be found. The games will
I
be
see.
a good place to start. How about you, my amphibious friend?
I don't know if I'm going to be competing in the games this year, but certainly would wish to see them. And,
If you have gold, it's well spent on this guy.
I can tell.
You're pointing to Taraxis, I take it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, my boy Taraxis is always his biggest hype man.
And so, Pythias, you see this huge, bronze bull literally blowing smoke out of his nostrils as he breathes, clearly being like something complete from the land. I mean, and you were saying you're curious, so maybe I'm wondering, is this something like pretty spectacular, seeing as you've never seen probably an anvil rot in person before?
Yeah, I'm impressed and a little intimidated. Yeah, but I will extend a hand. And be like, well met. I'm Pythias.
Greetings, Pythias. I am Taraxis, bronze bull of Theros.
So your friend here says you seek glory. Do you plan on entering the games?
Entering and winning.
Of course.
What game does Taraxis plan to? Is it gladiatorial? Does he plan to be more athletic?
Gladiatorial or wrestling, either
Wrestling.
or and
Okay.
or both.
Yep. Okay. And so there they are, kind of standing there talking, and suddenly we see kind of go back in and kind of like through the plume of smoke of Taraxis, like breathing back to like somewhere where there's smoke heaving in a dark cavern, and similar to a place like, not necessarily the same, like where Telmoon is from, but sitting in on a slab we see the moment of Taroxy's kind of coming to life as his bronze armor kind of animates as he breathes that first breath. As he sees, who's his creator name again?
Xanatos.
Xanatos. Okay, so I thought I'd kind of making a few tinkers like before him as he kind of stands up and looks towards him. We know that. So he was created by Perforos, and Xanatos
mentored him.
Mentored him.
So Perforos moved on almost immediately, but Xanatos was the one who actually took him in.
Got it. Okay. And so you are seeing Xanatos after you have been finding you kind of in that moment, seeing that you are awesome in your creation. And he says, you are created by Perforos, immaculate, as he walks around you. But for what purpose? What purpose do you serve? Do you have a name, creature?
I have no name. What is my name?
You will be Taroxys. And then as he says it, there is a loud clanging, like someone hitting it, like a hammer striking rock or an anvil, and in his lair, the flames kind of go up quickly. And so seeing that, Xanatos goes, by his name, Perforos. I did not name you. He did. But I will help you. Come, we have much to do. And he kind of pounds in your chest, ping, kind of with his fist, and this one eye looking at you very deeply. And together almost in similar size, even though for him to be a Cyclops, he is just a little bit larger than your huge form, as you all walk away. And we come back to you clutching, and I guess kind of as you stand looking over out of the side of a mountain, you and him standing together, he reaches out to shake kind of your hand for the first time. And as you grip, we kind of transition back to you shaking Pythias' hand there. Pythias, you feel like your tendons kind of stressed and strained a bit. And then, or happy when Taroxys releases them.
Is he hot to the touch too?
I don't think so, but
it's just he doesn't know how to gently squeeze your hand because it very much is a vice-like grip.
That's fair. Well, from your grip, I think you have very good prospects. And the friend here. So, are you going to be? Do you plan to enter the games? Are you an acrobat?
If something I see interests me, I may. I'm here to find out more about my ancestors. And the more glory I gather, I'm hoping the easier it will be to piece together that tale.
See. A worthy endeavor. I didn't catch your name. Pythias.
Telmoon, son of Telamon.
And I don't think Taroxys would have noticed when you grip my hand, it is cold and clammy.
Yes, because I would have given you my right hand to shake.
And so like your right hand is the non-mechanical?
Yes.
Okay. So, and you probably noticed that I maybe flinch a little bit at how dry and warm your hand is, but try to hide it.
Don't worry. I'm not trying to hide the fishy, clammy disgust that I'm feeling.
It's fair. Well,
Just like the book said. All right. Well met. And this is our group bard, group musician, newly hired. Misfits.
yeah, I heard you practicing.
Oh, I think I'm near perfection on that one. But yeah. Everything's practice. Always.
It was pretty good.
Thank you. I think she gives Liv a very elaborate bow.
What do we see Apodexis or Zen doing? I know Proxinos is just sleeping in the back of the wagon right now. What do we see those other two doing?
Zen would be kind of dwelling in the back, letting the caravan and everyone get way ahead of them, and immediately catching up and running past them all the way to the front and like 50 plus yards away, waiting for them constantly, prodding in place. It's like, God, you guys are so slow. I could have been there in like a day and a half.
I think Apodexis would see this and be in the opposite side, kind of like, so you would see almost it's like a horse versus a lion kind of going, and he's bounding on all four legs.
Nice.
Kind of like, and then he would run as quickly as he could up to Matthias and then stand upright and go, "You're kind. I've encountered you very often."
It's a new thing.
Do you follow the? And he kind of looks around to see if if there's any other humans in the caravan. Follow the gods.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing.
Do you follow the gods?
Yeah, you sound a little low, Renee. Sorry.
Oh, I got you though. But yes, yes, of course. I follow the most important god, Thassa, but
The most important god. Thassa?
yes. Well, to us, I suppose there are different perspectives.
Interesting. You big fellow, you think this other god is not the most important?
Well, Apodexis, you just asked Pythias if he followed the most important god. Is that what you said? And then how did you, just make sure I didn't miss anything, how did you respond, Pythias?
Well, no, so I said I follow the most important god, Thassa.
Okay.
And then he's asking Taroxes, do you disagree?
I suppose each creature's opinion is their own. But Thassa does not rend the earth and create great marvels, as does Perforos. Thassa's trident, Heliod's spear, the whip of Erebos. All were born, as I was, in the forges of Perforos.
He kind of looks up at Taroxes and goes, "I've also heard that in the end, everyone goes to Erebos."
And I imagine that Pythias said that, but he's thinking as on Tarox's response, whether that's true or not, he to some degree, he knows what he has grown up learning. He knows what he's actually also seen the power of Thassa by living in the sea. And I imagine that as we kind of push in on him kind of breathing through gills unseen, probably towards on his side, his eyes kind of glaze over as they blink sideways, and down in the deep, we see him swimming through the kind of lit by a beautiful blue as schools of fish swim past him, and suddenly out of the darkness a giant shark comes towards him and just literally goes right past him, as though he's unafraid, kind of moving through the water. And out of the darkness in front of him, he sees the silhouette, the skeletal structure of an old ancient warship. What does he do? Seems to perk his interest, possibly.
Yeah, he's going to investigate. I don't know if the ship would have multiple decks, but he's going to try to get closer and go in hatches.
Yeah, and he begins to do that, and after surveying the front, the top of the deck, and looking, he finds a hole in the side of the hull, and he dives down, elegantly moving through the water to the darkness there. And as he looks around, he is almost like there's something pulsing in the water, and he's drawn towards something in the corner, and as he approaches, it seems to be a figure that is old, dead humanoid, skeletal frame, mouth open, gape, but still clutching a beautiful sword, shield and bronze plate, kind of covered in seaweed that is like holding the figure in place. Almost like he saw the glint, he almost felt and then he went towards it. He could see it almost shining, even though there should be no light here to catch it.
And he'll approach and actually lay a hand on the corpse's cheek. Just say, "I'm sorry, friend. Must have been a terrible end. But I think I will make sure your story is told. And I will try to respectfully gather up the remains and pull him out."
And then he hears through the water, "Take it. It is yours." And he understands that he should take the shield, the armor, the breastplate, the sword. And when he touched the cheek, almost at that same moment of hearing that, brief visions of another hero's lifetime, of their deeds, are transferred to him, but almost like a dream where sometimes you wake up and you can experience the entire dream, and then once awake you forgot it. It's almost like it was a fleeting, just as he saw it, it was gone. But what remains is Thassa's gift to him, this hero's armor and weapon.
Right, well, I will certainly take them.
And so did you plan to take that creature and lay him rest in Athas's temple, or what would you have done with the body?
Right, yeah, I had plans to make sure that he is interred respectfully instead of being here on the ocean.
Yeah, and I guess, and if it's too much on the spot, that could be for later. But I wonder, I guess, what a Thassa for you is, what that looks like for you. But but I imagine you did that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of see it as like many foreign things find their way to the bottom of the sea, and so one of this may be completely out of the lore. I don't know.
We're gonna
Yeah.
because remember also the way I look at the lore is there can be there can be what's the truth or the way things are, and there can also be the way independent followers interpret and follow Thassa. So we're all making this up together. So it's just as much your story as it is Magic the Gatherings.
Yeah.
So just enjoy it. Don't ever feel hampered by the lore.
So as I see it, in the temples, things will hold pride of place if they are from another realm and been claimed by the sea, and can be brought back. So this person who appears to be some kind of mighty warrior from the past deserves to be placed there as someone who now is honored by Thassa instead. She has claimed him.
So it brings her to where she would become. As after laying the body to rest, it could have been a day later, it could have been moments later, it could have been weeks later, but we do see the first time on the shores, to the first time you break free and appear on the beaches under Heliod's sun on the shores of Man with this gleaming breastplate, shield, and weapon, and push back into your eye, and now you're standing there looking at Apodexis, who has questioned the true, the God, and that memory tells you, for you know who that is. I'll turn it back over to all of you.
DM,
yes.
What time is it in the day?
It's still hanging, like the sky, the way it looks on that image there. It's still late in the day. It's probably sun will set completely probably around 7:30, since it's like the summertime, or maybe even 7. Yes, probably 7:30. So it's around. It's around 6:30 in the evening.
Okay, perfect.
Kind of an hour of sunlight.
So from the carriage, you hear a loud yawn.
The yawn breaks the stare between Pythias and Apodexis.
And in the carriage, if you could see the pillow that he was laying on, he takes it, and then he looks like he's taking the wool that's covering over it and pulls it out, and it's a wooden shield. And he looks up to the sky and sees the sun setting, and with looks like some wood carving knife, he carves numbers into the shield.
Interesting. So you guys all see this. I don't know if anybody responds to sorry, go ahead, Orsino.
Oh, he just says 6 hours, and he puts it on his back.
Why does the human have wood?
And a wooden sword on his hip.
Any curiosities today? Why does the lion care about gods?
It's a good one.
I shall tell you. I'm just looking around at the different humans in the caravan. You know what returned are?
He's asking.
Yes, I do.
So one of my own kind brought that way. That is taboo in our...
It's still hard to hear you.
Hard to hear you, Renee. Yeah.
Almost sounds like your cord might be not plugged in.
Yeah, it's almost like it's going in and out. Like when you talk a certain way, it'll be loud, and then it goes very. When you whisper, we can't hear you.
How's that?
That's better. Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Maybe the cord.
Yeah, might be.
All right, how about that one?
It works. They both work. I can't tell unless you continue to speak.
Okay.
So
So he just goes,
Sounds good so far.
it's taboo. We are meant to be born, to hunt, protect, to die, to return.
Suddenly there's a flash, and Apodexis is on the highlands, on the fields of his land. And he's walking out, and he's approaching a cave. Sword in hand. His bow and arrow, or maybe bow and arrow in hand. And he sees this silhouetted figure walking towards him. And as it's walking up, with the wind blowing across the flatlands and that mountain behind it, there's a cave probably 100 yards away. And as the figure comes into the setting sun, comes into the light, it is a Leonin like him, but with a mask that fits the Leonin's face, all gold with black pitted eyes. And it just... It doesn't roar, but it looks lost. What does Apodexis do?
He pulls back the bow, and you can hear it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And as he lets go, he does not hear a thud. He knows he would not miss, but there is this, as he lets go, there is this black smoke and this whipping of the wind across the lands, and he just sees like this black smoke envelop the creature, and fingers, dark black thin fingers, grab at it, and it literally almost disappears. He hears the arrows whip. He doesn't hear where it lands. It probably dropped into the distance, and he can see that smoke just kind of slithering like a snake along through the grass, headed back into that dark cave. Does he follow?
Follows.
And so when he gets to the edge of the cave, give me an insight check.
$12.
So that he knows that beyond going into that cave, beyond that threshold, is not just a cave that leads to the underworld. Does he plan to go any further?
Since he's young and curious.
And so as he begins to step into the cave where he should see stalactites hanging from the ceilings, he sees the Nyx, the stars above. And in that opening space, the cave where it becomes a cavern, almost just mountains. Instead of a cave, it's actually just mountains stretching out as far as he can see. And there's a shore probably 300 yards out. But before he can take another step forth in the wet earth, a giant kind of skeletal creature walks forward with a shield and a sword in hand, a gladius ready to go, and just looks down on you in his eyes. And then he hears a voice, but not a voice of the skeletal structure, of the skeleton. It is not your time. Go back. Collect the souls that I cannot. Walk away unless you plan to join us here in the underworld. What does he do?
He just yells out, "If I do this, what favor do I get?"
What do you want?
For there to be order? For the dead to stay dead?
Order. You want order in a place where order is fleeting. This I cannot guarantee. Try again. Leave here. Bring those souls, and maybe I will provide something else.
So he turns around and just kind of still looks around at the nicks in the cave and just kind of like slowly pads off.
And as he pads off, he looks back one more time, and as the sun sets where the cave hole is, it was like almost like a shadow. And as the sun is setting, it's not an actual cave; it's actually a shadow. And as the shadow rescinds, it's just a sheer, flat surface, and the cave is gone. Back in the, and he would probably suddenly know for some reason that creature, that skeletal guardian, was a Thalaskia, or a guardian at the gates of the underworld. And so you're back with the group. What's Fitz doing right now? I'm sure her and Telmoon are singing songs or starting stuff.
Fitz is listening to everybody talking and making like annoying faces behind them, like.
And Epidexis just goes, he knows that you're doing that, so his ears kind of like do that cat thing where they twist.
Yeah.
And she has little ears as well, so they like twitch a little bit.
I like that one.
Minceberry, as Proxenos, grabbing from his satchel this nice little bag and hands it to, or puts it in front of Apodexis. And it's a nice, refreshing, like mint smell. And looks like a white berry of some sort.
Ooh.
Your face looks strange. Here, chill out.
I want to put an arm up on, put a hand up on Taroxy's arm and be like, I misspoke. I didn't want to start any fights. The forging of fine things and the ensuring of the natural order, these are all very important. And each of the gods is supreme in their own dominion. And if you come to my home and witness the fury of a kraken, you will see the supremacy of Thassa as well.
I would relish the opportunity to kill this kraken you speak of.
I wish you luck. Perhaps you can come visit and I can get you acquainted.
Epidexis goes, don't really do water.
All you do is talk. All of you. A lot of you. Are you gonna buy anything anytime soon? I let this one sleep in my cart. He still hasn't bought any goddamn thing. And this one's playing whatever you two. Play some more songs, satyrs, but at least purchase. So, as you are all seeing, the old man, Itunus, who is kind of just walked up and interrupted. What are y'all looking like? You act like you've never seen an old man before.
Hello there.
Hello. Good to see you. I like you. You pay money and you sleep.
Sounds low maintenance. That's pretty nice.
Very much so.
You have anything that's nice and light? I like some materials for clothes.
You're sleeping in my shit. And he kind of like, so what you realize is that most of Itunus, most of his gear, everything in his place is in his wagon, is a lot of the stuff that you would, if there's some he can't find, I'll let you know, but it's a lot of the gear that you'd find in the adventurers, Adventures gear. He has some basic weaponry as well, so any basic weaponry that you might want to buy. And then he has like a little like roll, and he pulls that out, and he it seems like everyone, whoever's the headmaster or whoever is kind of running the caravan, has taken a quick break. Maybe people are running out to take quick bathroom breaks or whatever before the horses continue. And he just kind of rolls it out on the ground there, and he kind of rolls out a few things. And he's like, well, he's got some little strange stick that looks like a wand. And then he's got this little weird clay eye. And then he's got a little bag of coins. And those are these are the specials for the day, he says.
Ooh. What you got? 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 What you got?
Yeah, interested. Okay. He shakes the bag. He goes, this here, lucky clay coins. They will give you luck, especially if you're going to Iros. So it's 5 coins in the bag, 1 gold for each coin. They're clay coins. But they give you great luck if you have them on you. People say that they are blessed by one of the gods. Not quite sure.
What else you got? What else you got?
I got the clay eye. It's actually just a nice piece of artwork created by a wonderful artist down in Melitis, but some people believe it might have strange properties. But that's all I know about it. And then this silly little wand here. I don't like touching it because often if I hold it too long, it makes me and people around me smile. And I don't like smiling.
That sounds delightful. I love smiling. How much is that?
Oh, the wand? And you could tell that he kind of can see that you like the wand. It's like, I will part with it for 70 gold coins.
Oh gosh, that's kind of a lot. And she's gonna like tip her little toe near it and cast distort value. And see if she can get a little deal on that.
Can you tell me what that does so I can explain the spell?
Of course. I have to touch it. And it says if you cast this spell on an object, doubling the object's perceived value by adding illusory flourishes or polish, or reducing its perceived value by half with the help of illusory scratches and dents and other unsightly features. Anyone? Let's see. I guess it's a investigation check against my spell DC.
So he looks down, and so what you make it look like? I mean, what I'm imagining is that suddenly this wand that looked kind of pristine, even though it's made of wood, goes from like cracks appear in it, and it looks a little flayed and old,
like one wilted leaf.
Yeah, and
it's just basically a tree branch.
And so he looks down at it, and I mean, well, he's talking to you, so he's like 70 gold. So how do you bring him to to look at it again?
She kind of like tosses it over with her hoof a little bit, and it's like, I don't know. Does it really look like it's worth 70 gold to you?
It's just finely crafted. It. Well, yeah, look at that. It's fine. It just got a little nick there, just a little scratch there.
How about the leaf, though? I mean, come on.
How much will you give me for it? And he just starts smiling, holding it.
What'd you do? Maybe 50 gold. Let's meet in the middle here.
Just to get 50 gold it is. 50. Take it off my hands. Take it off my hands.
Give it to me.
And take your 50, he hands you the wand. And you have just purchased yourself a happy wand of smiles for 50 gold coins with 3
Best
charges.
She just dances away and says, "Thank you,"
and I will
and
send
flicks
you.
it at him.
I will send you what it does in the chat. and you can hold on to that. What's everybody else doing? Is this
Oxynos buys the clay coins.
Clay coins? Okay, and he went for 5 gold. He gives you the clay coins. Proximus, after you get a hold of the clay coins, can you give me like just a quick investigation check as you inspect them?
That is a 7.
7. So right now, Proximus kind of doesn't know what they do, but he's just like, he bought them and he'll keep them and just hold on to them for now.
And he's saying, "I'll need the luck."
This eye, does it see?
He seems a bit scared and intimidated. Does it see what? It like I said, I collect things from around Theros. Don't always know what they do. Sometimes you just, again, I didn't know that thing made me smile until I held on to it for a little bit. So I'm a little scared of that one. The eye seems a little creepy, but you never know. Could have it's a trinket, Trinkets sometimes have value, sometimes they don't.
Telman has told me of these trinkets. I will acquire this one.
Oh, yes. I think it will look perfect on your bronze chest. I will even give you a little rope if you'd like to wear it as a necklace, or can you pierce those ears? I mean, you could make it an earring. And he just kind of hands it over. And that only costs you 5 gold pieces. But I'm welcome with the rest of you if you need anything else, rope, gear.
Yes. Does he appear to have a net?
A net? I
Yes.
think I have one more net. And he goes to the back and pulls out under a bunch of rope. And he kind of asks Proxinos, can you move over a little bit? Pulls the net out. Yes, and then whatever the net costs in the Adventurer's Handbook at that price.
1 gold, apparently.
There you go.
Okay, I will gladly take a net.
Talmud is looking around and he's like, it appears that the fans of Taroxys have grown. Do you sell any clothing, sashes, something that we can put on so that distinguish ourselves and help build the glory of Taroxys?
Unfortunately, I have no wares of such, but you'll find great things to wear in Akros. I mean, they're not nearly as good as you'd find in Melitis, but some good shawls. They really like red there, though, so a lot of it will probably be red. Red or white.
Yeah. Seder, you want some clothing?
You're
Someone's
talking to both
looking
of
at
us, or
this.
just one of us?
Talmon was his
Really?
name? He's looking over at Talmon.
Fitz just looks a little sad that you weren't talking about her and kind of skips away.
Are you a merchant? Human?
I know how to sew clothes. And you see that his that he has some actually like nice like robes on that seem like he could be from a well-known family or something like that.
Very useful. The humans on the team. He will help us bring you glory, Taroxys.
So as that conversation happens, I imagine right from our peripheral vision, Zen is on one of his runs, and as soon as he crosses by Taroxys dashes right next to him, just about trying to keep up. But whereas Zen is light and quick, you can feel the ground as Taroxys slams, running beside him.
Does
Dexter's is
try
gonna
to-
see that. And he's gonna go on all fours. Just he ain't been left out of that.
It's a race.
So suddenly there's a race breaks out between all three of those as they just go leaping. Apodex is slightly at the rear. Zen still leading, and Troxy's right behind him. Can I get
Athletics.
Athletics check from you all? I guess strength is than acrobatics. You're really just racing. So athletics, yeah. Unless
this is gonna play.
I'll take acrobatics or athletics. How about that? Just so you can use your put your strongest foot forward.
It ain't me.
19.
11.
Athletics. 24.
Jeez.
Got a +5.
So just moving, Zine starts to outpace. Shortly right behind him, the Leonin, and then behind the heavy, just even though made of whatever his metal lungs made of, starting to kind of get heavy as they go running. As Zen is kind of taking off for a moment, it's kind of just go through light and to where he is in his old kind of place where he is racing his brethren, his family, and just literally beating them by 100 yards. And what is the feeling of, what does he get out of that when he is just winning or when he's having that victory, those moments, Zen?
The run is more, the victory's nothing to him.
Yeah,
it's the running.
run.
It's constantly going full throttle, bobbing and weaving through the forest, jumping over logs, ducking down from branches. It's the exhilaration of an adrenaline junkie in comparison.
Yeah.
If I make one mistake, not really.
Okay.
I mean, there are traits from his father. His father's has a different thing that gets, him exhilarated, which is mostly like raiding and fights.
Okay, got it. But the father's the fairy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on. I got their names written down. Actually, I was going to say.
You don't have to go. This is the family's names.
His father is Solaris.
Solaris. Okay.
Which is also Greek mythology.
Hmm.
He is like the head, one of, if not the best, fairy raider. He is the charger. He gets his adrenaline and high from fighting and combat, where I just get it from, if I make one small mistake, I could be old Yellard.
Yeah. And so as you're running, your brothers and sisters behind you, if they could catch you, they would say he's such a fucking cheat. The fairy in you, and because you just move with such grace, but they can't catch you. And so before we can even get to the point of the memory where you finish the race, we flash back to you just whooping on Taroxys and Apodexes. But as you're running far ahead of the pack, suddenly you hear the galloping of hooves as a figure is coming towards you on a horse. And it's a collision course, like almost you were looking back, and as you look, the horse, so that the horse doesn't hit you, that horse rears up and collapses over, throwing whoever was on his back to the ground about 10 feet away from you. Suddenly, as Apodexis and you, I imagine you stop just enough time for the others to catch up. There you now stand over this. The horse looks tired and doesn't stand back up, like it's been running for some time. Like it could die, but it's not dead. It's definitely exhausted. And the figure has fallen. Apodexis and the others catch up. So we'll move in a little closer here as the other party is still not quite there yet. And you see that the figure on the ground kind of rolls over. You hear the crunching as he falls of snapping of branches. And as he rolls and comes to, he's kind of propped up on his side because he has arrows sticking out of his back. And his skin is gray and ashen, but where his face should should be, there is a golden mask with a bit of just like a dark smoke drifting out from where the slit of the mouth would be, similar to who you see behind me. What do you all do? The other party members, they're going to all arrive with the caravan, and I'd say you probably have a minute before they arrive.
Pedexis roars and then pounces.
Pounces on the man that just fell down?
The golden.
Okay. So, does anybody try to stop him as he pounces? What do you do when you pounce on him?
As he's leaping, he on the haunches, back legs kick up. You see the muscles just full spring, and as he's doing that in midair, he pulls out his blade and swivels it, and as he's coming down, tries to see if he can bring him down.
So I won't even make you roll for it. If no one else is going to do anything, you just behead it.
Then just backs away once pounces onto the person, kind of in shock.
The head comes off, and the mask falls off, and as the head rolls onto its side, it's just a gray face with no eyes and no nose, and just a slit where the mouth is. Some black ichor and smoke come out of where the neck was. The metal, gold, literally full gold mask goes clink, 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 and tinkers over, and it falls kind of hollow side up so you can see into the top of the mask, and all of you see strange runes etched inside the mask.
Don't touch it. And then Apodexis with his sword kind of lifts it and then opens a pouch underneath the little cloak he's wearing and places it, and you hear the clink, clink.
Where does he place the mask? Oh, in a bag.
Inside a pouch.
Okay.
That he's carrying.
Interesting. So as you put the mask away, does anybody else respond to this? As you guys, I mean, he's doing. I imagine that all happened very quickly, but does Taraxis or Zen say anything?
A clean and decisive kill. You struck well.
Can I get a insight from all of you that are there? The other party's still on their way.
14.
Okay.
16.
So Zen, you see this and you agree with Taraxis. It was a quick and decisive kill. Had the guy been alive, you saw the life. You can tell that he died when he hit the ground, and you could tell that he had expired from the 3 arrows in his back. And you could tell he was definitely running away from something.
Just out of curiosity there, Leonin, is that how all you say hello to people?
That was returned.
Oh. So that's what they look like. I've heard stories, but I've never seen one.
So he walks over to Zen and he opens up the pouch, and you can see like just maybe 1 or 2 other of those golden masks.
Got a nice collection going.
Thank you.
But there's one problem. He was heading our direction, so he was running, I think, away from someone or something.
He could have been.
I mean, he's been riding for some time. The horse is almost dead.
So what was it running from?
He had arrows in his back when I saw him as soon as he flew by me. We almost collided. That would have been real bad.
Do we notice any marks on the horse? Any claw scratches, gashes?
The horse on the rear hind is still named. Trying to get up. It has 1 arrow in it. Can you give me an investigation check on the horse?
4.
So as everyone's now starting to catch up, everyone has arrived. Some of the people are a little scared because they've seen it. So they've kind of dropped back. The only cart that came up to the front is holding Praxinos, who's just kind of set up, kind of looking over. So the cart's right there. And you can tell that the horse could be, brought back to health but it would need some help.
Proxenos gets out of the cart.
Okay.
He walks over to the horse. Have a nice dream. As he taps it on the, kind of like on the neck, as he caresses it.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to heal it for 1d6.
Nice.
5 hit points are restored, and it gets 1 temporary hit point, and it starts to feel drowsy.
Okay, so the horse kind of stands up and it looks healthy and well. He's able to snap and pull the arrow out of its hide, and it takes a few steps towards the cart, and then a horse kind of collapses down and sits next to the cart, super tired, next to the horse that the old man was pulling over here. And as you all see that Praxinos has just healed the horse, there is the sound of racing hooves coming from over the mountain there, right over a hill. And you're in this old area of broken ruins. Praxinos is actually probably this is interesting. It's a territory that he knows, that he's used to, a territory that he's traveled before when you're kind of coming into Acroian territory. But these horses, these 3 horsemen, as they come riding over, almost like in slow motion, galloping with their garments kind of flowing in the wind, you can see that they all are wearing these golden masks. One of them has an arrow that it looks like it's kind of loading, kind of notching an arrow in, but then it looks and can see that the figure is down, kind of brings it back, and they ride up close to you all.
Telman would have put his lyre on his back and brought out his sword and his shield and smashed them together, and you see a bit of a shining just glaze over his body as he casts mage armor on himself.
Right, so they're over there. He casts the mage armor, and they're on these horses riding up.
You see Proxenos's blade, or his wooden sword that's on his hip, as he draws it out, it starts to glow almost like a white-ish light of some sort. A bit of yellow in it.
From the heretic, you bleeder. One of them utters through its mask.
Fitz would like to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Fitz.
It's an 18, okay.
18, so Fitz is kind of shook.
She's fanning herself a little bit.
She catches herself and does not tumble. And what is the rest of you guys doing as they're telling you to step away?
Yeah, I would also step forward so we can get. I get the sense Taroxes and Telman are coming up, threatening what is kind of defending.
Yeah, Taroxes takes point and slams the haft of his halberd into the ground.
Yeah. And I'll come up with the shield and get the sword drawn and do nothing else because I can't do anything else, but try to look menacing.
So, Proxenos has cast Shillelagh on his sword, and he has his wooden shield ready.
Kill them all. And so the figures on the horses, of course, they're wearing these metal masks, go rushing forward. And the one in the middle raises his hands towards the sky. And as he does, this kind of dark lightning bolts crash down, and bones that are in the local area start to writhe and kind of stand up, finding themselves coming together. And you're all around these wheat fields, but these wheat fields are also around this strange old ancient ruins that probably people have long forgotten what they originally were, but they probably came from the Acroian society long before, what came before. Roll initiative. And we'll take a 5-minute break. We'll roll initiative. Actually, before we take that break, this has been a long opening, but before we take our break, as we crash to black, as those riders go rushing in, I will share this with you all. Okay, no, I think I shared the wrong thing. I'm sharing my.
That's your screen.
That's what I should have shared. So, do you all see black now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see my quick time. All right, and let me. We'll go ahead and play this.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it. Screams from the haters, got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power. Broken, the school's closed, the prison's open. We ain't got nothing to lose. Everybody, we rollin'. Everybody, we rollin'. With some light-skinned girls and some Kelly Rollins. And this white man world, we the ones chosen. So good night, cool world. I see you in the morning. I see you in the morning. This is way too much. I need a moment. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking. I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power. Till then, that the world's ours.
All right, so welcome everybody to our official Theros session 0. That is our opening, which we will have a shorter version going forward. But and Troy, I will put your last name in there going forward. Did Jason miss all of that? I might have to play it again for Jason.
No, it's cool. I'll catch you later. It's fine.
No, we're gonna take a 5-minute break while we get ready.
Okay, yeah, I'll catch you now. Then
so
sorry about that.
So everybody will take a 5. I'll let Jason watch this one more time since he dropped out, and then we will get started in this conflict. And it should be short, so we'll still think we'll end around the same. Maybe 9:15 is where we should be closing out. Here you go. Jason, can you hear? See that?
I can.
Okay, sweet.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it. Screams from the haters, got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power. Broken, the school's closed, the prison's open. We ain't got nothing to lose. Everybody, we rollin'. Everybody, we rollin'. With some light-skinned girls and some Kelly Rollins. And this white man world, we the ones chosen. So good night, cool world. I see you in the morning. I see you in the morning. This is way too much. I need a moment. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking. I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power. Till then, that the world's ours.
All right. I see you now. I see. One of these days, you're gonna spell my name right, bro.
When I spell it, is it
You always put a G on the end of my name, bro. It's all good.
Oh, you never told me.
It's all right, man. Like it's all good. Like
Then I will change it. No.
Since I hear you're going back into it to fix Troy, I figure I might as well.
I gotta
say
go back.
something.
Yeah, man. Let me know so I can fix it.
That's all right. It makes
For
me
some-
less
for-
traceable online.
No, for the longest time, I've always thought it was Irving with the G. So
Yeah, a
if
lot of
it's
people do.
Irvin, then
Yeah.
that's my fault. It's like I get, it's a million times a day. If it makes you guys feeling better, I get no one ever puts the second L in my name. I'm Malcolm to everybody, but myself.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure I don't spell your name right either. I just shortened it to Mal because it's easier.
No worries. Cool, man.
That's okay. Apparently, since the last couple of years professionally, I've become Jace. I don't know where this has come
Really?
from, but everywhere I work, they're just like, "Hey, Jace," and I'll get like
Jace?
Jayce.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What is this? Where did this come? This is new. I don't know if I like this."
That's interesting.
You a
Jay.
planeswalker now.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
It's cool. I can just be like Troy, like Prince. Just that's it.
I'm enjoying all the character development so far. Like I wanted a lot of time for you guys to just kind of play the characters for a little bit. So that's really cool.
Honestly, I'm a little too tired to play what I really wanted to do.
No,
Like I wanted a voice, and then I kind of wanted to do like a split personality type thing, but I'm too tired for it right now. So
it's okay. You can always bring it in. I made a mistake. I meant to end your story with the dance.
Yeah, no worries. That's why I was like, oh, I guess we're going back further.
Yeah,
you want to break our hearts?
Like,
okay. You wanted to see the tragedy. I see.
I
Let's
imagine
rip
that
them
I'll
out.
bring it back some point. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. I thought you were like, oh, you told me which member you liked. I was like, cool. I'm gonna have a nice time with my mom.
I don't know what changed it. It's just me. I always go for the dark, so I couldn't help it.
Cool. It was beautiful though. That was a more impactful moment for an introduction, and they could see why I am the way I am now.
Yeah,
obviously.
But I imagine that dance would be really special because like learning to dance with his mom after losing the arm, and that'd be like a moment of kind of reawakening and coming back. So yeah.
And yours was right after Nikki's too, so it's just like riding the wave of that.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Like you
that's what happened.
kept riding it.
I
was
rode
like,
that
let's do
wave.
it.
I rode that wave. Yeah, for sure. So hopefully you guys can pin if you want to see closer what's going on there.
I will say it amounted to better storytelling. So bravo for taking that leap.
Thanks. All right, let's see.
Yeah, I made sure to go ahead and get my Bava roll out of the way.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I mean, my first roll of the campaign was a 1. So there you go.
Double check.
By the way, Troy, just go ahead of me.
Okay.
So
There's no chance that you have a higher dex than him anyway.
Taroxys, what did you get?
3.
Ooh, heavy. Apodexis.
What's your dex, Troy?
16.
If Apodexis is knocked out back, that's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mine's 14.
That's lower than I expected.
Zen, what'd you get?
I got 16.
16.
I'm evenly split between wisdom and dex.
Pythias?
Got it.
14.
Okay. And then
I
if
have
you are...
it.
Okay, Fitz?
A 10.
10. Not too
Gotta have
bad,
a
right in the
decent save for that stun and strike when I get it.
middle. Telman?
19.
19. Proxinos?
That is a 16.
That's surprisingly high for a guy that just woke up. But he has just helped that horse.
He's
Goblin?
invigorated from a good
and
nap.
then let's see, and then our boy.
Proxinos is quite active when he's awake.
Yeah, no. I'm just giving him shit. I'm sure he is. Apodexis, is he back? Oh yeah, Renee, what'd you get?
Muted.
Oh, muted.
Sorry, I was checking. 13.
13. All right, sweet. So let's get our first combat out of the way. Let's pray to all the gods that there are no deaths here in the first combat, and just like everything goes smoothly. All right. So as we kick off the combat, is everyone back? Let's see, make sure I have everything I need. All right. So yeah, so whatever it happens, maybe because it looks like you. It actually clearly doesn't like you're helping the guy because he's beheaded. But the fact that people stepped forward instead of stepping back when they said step away has just kind of sent these returned into a frenzy. It could even be that in their past lives they were murderous, and so murdering is what they do in the afterlife. And so they go rushing forward, but who gets the jump on everything is Telmoon. As you see it all happening, what do you do?
You see Telmoon in game. He's using his bonus action class feature to have his ancestral guidance, but you'll see almost an aura of presence. The light that was kind of shimmering off of him has now gotten brighter, and now every step he takes is more graceful. The dance that he was doing before was different. That one was of joy and mirth. This one is just pure, just killing, just lethality. And he will run straight past, climb up straight past this first skeleton to the right.
Yep.
And
Like
he
over
will try
this,
to,
right?
Yep, and he'll just hop in with them and then run right past them, trying to provoke an attack of opportunity.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So I'm gonna check the climbing as a. So I imagine that these hills are slightly more gradual. They're not as steep, so it's just kind of running up difficult kind of terrain, rocky.
I have 45 feet.
Oh,
so let me do what I'm doing. I mean, so let me know when I need to stop. Is all I'm
this
saying,
is 20. This is 25 right here. 30 is right here, and then 30, 35, 45 is like right at the top.
That's cool.
If he runs by you, if you run by him, you want him to strike you.
Yep.
Okay. The skeleton, which I'm about to see what he's got up to on him, but the skeleton strikes and gets a 17.
That misses.
Okay.
And because he missed, I take a riposte action.
Nice. I see what you're doing here. Jesus, Linda. Let's go.
That's an 18 to hit.
That hits.
And that would be a 4 plus 3. That's 7 damage to him.
Jeez.
And when I get up on top to challenge this man, he casts Blur. So now that Dance of Fury has now started to double. And it's even harder to follow his movements.
So like slow motion Zack Snyder style, right? This whole scene's gonna be Zack Snyder style, just so everybody's like goes sliding through this thing's legs. It goes to swing, misses Telmoon, almost like nipping off a little like hair of his tail, but doesn't even do that. He like, turns back with this. I imagine you fight like kind of rapier, like dancing kind of.
Exactly.
You fight more of like a striking, thrusting style.
Yes, sir.
And just whack, whack, and you just a couple of shots tear off a couple of his ribs. He staggers back, clankers, trying to hold on to it. As by the time you've done the double strike, we see just a ghost of you as you're up on the second part, rushing, closer into battle. There you are up there, rushing away from that skeleton. Are you done, sir, or you have more for me?
Nope, that's it.
All right. As he's rushing away, this first sentry goes riding forward, riding down the hill into the fray. First person in front of him looks to be our Triton, Pythias. So it's how you see this guy just riding for you and goes to strike. I should probably be rolling that strike. Oh, that's a nat 20.
Okay. Let's see if my character survives the first combat.
Yeah, so with striking with the sword, so it'll be 1d6.
As that strike almost connects, I'm going to use my reaction. Taroxes slams his halberd down once more, and then a rune on the actual blade of the halberd glows for just a millisecond as he uses the reaction to activate his cloud rune.
Okay. And so
when you or a creature you see within 30 feet of you is hit by an attack roll, you can use your reaction to choose a different creature other than the attacker within 30 feet of you to become the target of the attack instead using the same roll.
Got it. Okay.
So he immediately, the weave around us almost shifts. And as the blade comes down to strike Pythias, the actual damage goes to the leader who initiated this.
13 bludgeoning to Taroxes.
No, not to me, to another creature. I can choose.
Oh, you can
So
choose. Got it.
that goes to the returned, the one who initiated the attack.
The one that initiated. So he gets the 13. Got it. So how does it visually look? Is it Taroxes sending power through, or is it him fumbling the attack and taking the damage?
All right, Taroxes struck the ground. The
and
rune
that
glowed.
Got it.
And so the strike hits Pythias, but
The damage
Pythias
goes.
is untouched.
Got it. Okay. We'll take the 13. So as you slam into the ground and as it scrapes slow motion across Pythias, across that heroic armor, the shield that you're wearing, the blast ripples through the ground and throws the sentry from his horse. Because the horse can continue on, the horse continues to run through with the disengage action. The sentry falls to the ground on his back after striking and is just simply down on the ground.
So the attacker can't take the damage. I can designate another creature.
Oh, so who are you giving it to?
I was choosing one of the other returns.
One of the other returns.
The one
so I'll
who
give
spoke.
So I'll give the one who spoke, the 13.
So
Got
that's where the damage went.
That's 13 instead of him.
Yeah, I'll send the specific wording through chat really quick.
Got it.
It's pretty strong.
It's pretty nasty. I like it. I like it. So, all right. I'll still keep him off his horse then. And then, so he's prone. And as that happens, we move to the second sentry on his horse, who rides over the top of this area and sees Talum coming towards him. Goes into battle with him and will roll. Strike.
That's disadvantage, Mel.
Disadvantage? Okay. So that was... All right, so 9... 15 is not going to hit, right?
Misses. Yeah.
Misses. So as he kind of clashes with, you block your shield, he rounds about and you and him are he's kind of like going around you on the horse as you are, kind of getting ready to lock up with him. That puts Proxinos up as both of the sentries have struck.
Zen goes first.
Oh, so Zen. Okay, then Zen, yep, you're up.
Well, shit. Okay, Zen is going to run up the mound that the sentry just ran down.
Where's Zen going?
To where the sentry that just ran down from that mound all the way up there.
He's running up here. Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's someone in front of me, or that's on? Okay, they're on.
Do you want the one in front of you? Is that who you're going after? That's the one that's reached to the skies. He's the one that summoned the one in the middle on the white horse. Summoned the skeletons.
I'm going to that one, the summoner.
Yeah.
That's the one I put the damage on.
Yep, that's the one you put the damage on.
Oh, okay. What if one can be? And Zen's going to just constantly run around him. As he does, he's just going to start throwing haymakers since they're on the same height level right now.
Okay.
So plus 17 to hit.
17. I'm sure hits. Let me just check one more time, but I do believe that hits.
I don't know what you got.
Yeah. $17 does hit.
Okay, he takes 11 bludgeoning damage from my fist.
From his fist. So this horse just comes riding up, and as you clash, your hooves kick out, pushing past the other horse and just colliding, your fist slow motion, boom, punches into that golden mass, probably denting it. You hit him again, boom, with another fist, black smoke coming out. Give me the damage. You said 11. What was it?
Yeah, 11. I rolled max.
Okay, yep. So he staggers and falls off the horse. And you like kind of just punch him on the horse. The white horse continues to like ride by in slow motion. Is that all you got? Anything else?
Then we'll use a key point to go in patient defense.
Patient defense. Okay.
Disadvantage on attack rolls against me.
Disadvantage on attack rolls against you. Okay. So camera whips around as he's just knocked the main cloaked returned off his horse. We move from Zen to Proxinos, who just brought one of the horses back, who's down right here.
Oh, as he's slowly walking forward, and he's like eyes turn to Mr. Timon.
Yeah, the old man. Telmoon.
Telmoon.
Telmoon's up on the mount. He's up here. So yeah, you're walking towards him.
So I'm kind of like, I'm like slowly walking towards him as I'm like yawning. And then you see Proxinos disappear.
Oh shit.
as he misty steps up right next to him. And in that split second as he appears, you see him with the wooden sword that's glowing strike at the return that's riding the horse.
Nice.
That's 19.
19 will hit.
And that is 5 magic damage.
5 magic damage to the guy riding that horse up there. That's his first. Wait, make sure I'm right on this. Yeah, because that's this first hit. So 9 damage. So boom, he gets hit. Not enough to take him off the horse, even though it's magic. As you kind of comes out of nowhere. What are you hitting him with?
It's a wooden sword.
Sword. Oh, that has magic. Okay. So the sword slams against him. Which did we talk about you starting with magic weapons? Maybe I should have.
That's shillelagh.
It's a shillelagh. It's a
that's why. You're a druid. That makes perfect sense. Beautiful way to turn. Great. Good job. Good job, Proxinos. So sorry for even questioning you. I should have known. You have a DM. So as you like hit him upside the head, he almost falls on the side, but he's like hanging on one side of the horse, off the bridle of the saddle, holding on. He's taking all that damage, looking a bit dazed. If you've got nothing left, then it goes to Pythias, who is, I don't know if you can see yourself right here.
Yep. Yeah, so Pythias is still has the shield up and is cringing, waiting for that blow to fall, and eventually realizes it's not gonna. And he looks back at Taroxes and sees the realization, and his hand tightens on the sword and gives him a nod. And then he moves in and stabs down at the one who's prone.
And you get advantage on that because he's prone.
Yes, I do.
Give him
which is an 18.
That's going to hit.
Okay. Let me roll my d8. Plus 3. That'll be 8 piercing damage.
And as you stab down, you see like kind of his black kind of blood fly up as he reaches out like clutches his chest where you're stabbing him. Still alive, still writhing in slow motion, but there. But definitely taking some hefty amount of damage.
Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be what I got.
As Pythias stabs, the camera kind of swings across. Some of the people are like starting to hide and push some of their belongings back. People grabbing their kids and such. As we push away from Pythias, frills on his, head standing up as he stabs down. We see Apodexis, who was at the top of this, right next to Roxas after that race. I'm sure chomping at wanting to get in this with these returned. What does he do?
Moves up to the closest one, which I think is over by
The one that's on. It's the
Yeah.
one on the ground right there that he just attacked.
Yeah. So he'll
Just so you can see your
The same
character. A
thing?
little bit. Yep.
and he'll before he does it, he'll just get the loudest roar he possibly can, where you see like the spittle come out, and then just with his sickle down into the ground.
Get an attack. You get advantage.
Ooh, 20.
Jeez.
And and 5 more damage. Just brings it down.
So this guy is like struggling. As he's one stab, to the second stab, he like reaches over and clutches and like is holding your blade, still holding onto his, but like now there's 2 blades in him as he's holding on, but almost dead. Apodexis has nothing left. Kind of camera pushes away from them. Both the guy from the water. I mean, kind of the epitome of the water and the land, right? This Leonin and this Triton, and then we're pushing through the people. There is Fitz standing there. She didn't fall over. What's happened?
She's freaking out a little bit. This is not the kind of pandemonium she's used to. And she's going to kind of feebly throw a dagger at maybe the nearest baddie guy.
So you got 5, maybe 15 feet away. You got this guy, and then I can imagine maybe you can see him at a bit of a distance. Like you can see he's got the guy on the horse up here, and that guy would be tough to see. So yeah, you can basically throw a dagger
like
at the
20 feet.
Guy that's on the ground.
And 60 is the far. So I'm going to go for the easy target.
Yeah, and he get advantage because he's on the ground, so.
Okay. Oh, gosh, new stats. Hold on. Okay, the first one is a 19.
That's going to hit.
Which I'm thinking probably hits.
Yep.
Okay. So she's just like, ah! And that is 4 whole points of damage.
How does your dagger kill him?
She's gonna try and like throw it high so that it arcs over anybody that she's aiming for, and it's just gonna like spiral and like right down into him.
Gosh, it's that
like
movie.
An
it's that movie.
Unintentional, really awesome.
You know what that is, right? You guys remember that movie Wanted? You ever seen bullets?
Yeah.
You ever curved a bullet?
He done curve the blade.
Like whip the blade around. So the blade is like, it goes around the Triton Pythias. It goes, through right by the Leonin's hair, shaving off a bit of Apodex's like bit of his mane. He shaves his mane and puts it in a little ponytail, but it just cuts right by and then downwards like a curveball and then slams into. And then, so imagine these things like these gold ornate masks, kind of like you see behind me, and then like this black smoke boom, 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 come out of the eyes and where the mouth is, and then gone.
And she's gonna pull out her little piccolo and say, "This is our fight song. Don't take our lives song. We'll be all right song." And just like blows into the piccolo and gives Taroxy's whatever bardic inspiration.
So good. All right, I love it.
1d.
Keep practicing.
She's so stressed out, and that's the end of her turn.
That's playing right now is called training. He's like, keep practicing. That's so good. All right, that guy is dead. Great kill there, all of you together. That was like a 3-person kill. But great finisher for Fitz, as the first skeleton, who is almost dead, kind of holding on, clatters and has no mind really of its own, so it clatters away from Talum down into the pile of people and begins to hack away at innocent souls. So one person goes down just in the actually 2 people out of the group go down as it starts to hack away. The second skeleton is over here, rushes in, tries to get Leonin from behind. It kind of comes out of bursts forward out of the wheat fields, clattering forward with its ancient old weapon, and will strike. And that's not going to hit with a 2. So Leonin, how do you like, gracefully dodge that strike as it comes out of nowhere?
So he can, as it strikes, like his ears twitch and
Yeah.
just like slow motion, like.
Third one tries to strike Proxinos, and oh my gosh, terrible rolls today, and is going to miss. How does Proxinos move when he's dodging? What does it look like as he gracefully? This is the last one that struck.
So, because he wears very light clothing and his weapons aren't heavy, it's very fat. It's very easy for him to dodge out of the way, and he uses his shield not to like block things fully on, but like deflect it. So, like basically moving the blade to his right side or his left side as the skeleton is attacking him.
Perfect. So the return stands, mouth not moving, wearing its mask, facing off against Zen. You fools. Kind of like power, its hands like light up. And this creature, using half of its movement to stand up. And then it strikes with, it just casts down a thunderbolt from the sky, just like whips out of its hands. And let's see, it's a strike. I need to hit. That's a nat 20, second one of the night. So 25 would be total. And on the centaur, with a total of 9 damage. Actually, hold on. Is that did I roll the right damage? Oh, sorry, that was the wrong. I made a mistake, but I'm gonna go with that. 9 total. So lightning just because it's probably less than it could have been. So strikes down.
I'm just double checking something real quick.
Wait, would that have been a disadvantage because of his patient defense?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yes, it would have been. Good
Dodge
call.
action.
And I would have rolled a 16.
That still hits.
Still hits. Okay.
Yeah,
so it would have
but
been doubled. So let me re-roll the damage then. It would have been 1d instead of 2. So yeah. So it would have only been. So. It's still pretty high. He's pretty freaking strong. I actually rolled it wrong the first time. It actually would have been d8 anyway, just off the bolt. Period. So it's a 10 damage.
Copy.
Yeah, that would have actually been much higher because I rolled a 2d6 the first time. It's just so that you can be completely transparent. Should have been a 2d8 plus 2, just so that would have been 4d8 on its original strike. Yeah, so just 10.
Yeah, that would have killed me.
Who are you to go against Erebos in our wheel? Give us the body and the mask. So after that attack, he has nothing left. We then move from, as you take that damage, camera pans over to Taroxis, our giant bronze bull. Go for it.
How you looking, Zen?
Bloody.
Bloody? Okay. All right. I think you'll be all right. So Taroxis is going to run his full 30 feet. He's running up towards the one on the horse.
Okay. What, up here?
Yeah.
So let's see. Can he make that? 5? Because these are double. This is the difficult terrain.
All right. He's going to dash.
Oh, got it. He's dashing. If he's dashing, then he can make it.
And so at the end of that dash, he's going to trigger his goring rush.
Of course he is.
And he is going to slam full force into that returned with a horn attack as a bonus action.
Okay, give it to him.
That is a 16.
16 will still hit.
And we're gonna see 5 piercing.
Piercing. How's it not working? 5 piercing damage. I'll take it to the one that was on the
horse.
All right, so 5 as you slam into the. What are you using? An axe?
My horns.
Horns. So you kind of gore, and you gore like into his side, and he's like, ah, and he literally tumbles off of the horse. And as he tumbles off of the horse, falling down on his side, it's going to be the last round of combat. I know we always say we're going to be right on time, we're overtime, but this is going to be the last round.
I'll go ahead and before that turn completely ends, I'll activate that action surge.
Yep. Oh, you can go ahead. Yep. Make that second attack as he falls down.
And so now that he's on the ground, I pull out my maul and I slam it down into his chest.
Nice. Oof.
So that's a dirty 20.
All right. And it's okay. And you're taking bonus action to change the weapon?
Well, I have them both on me.
Both on. Okay, so you have two weapons.
Yeah, I have a maul and a halberd.
I can get that right. Okay, got it. So it's maul. Hit him with the maul. And what'd you get? Dirty 20 set?
Dirty 20.
He's gonna hit it. He's gonna take it. Give me the damage.
The damage is gonna be. It's going to start as 7, but I'm going to trigger another special ability.
How do you trigger your ability if you want? But yeah, how do you kill him?
He smashes the maul down onto its face, like he crushes the mask.
So if you were to keep this mask, it's just dented all the way in. You know, if you were to keep this golden mask and try to sell it, it just smashes and like the gray matter and black splash all over the rock behind you.
And then he just roars into the sky.
Wow, he sends a chill down everyone's spine, I imagine, as that happens. As both of the sentries are dead, there is only one left. The one who's there, who summoned the skeletons, holding his ground. He sees that both of his minions are dead. He realizes this is a failed mission. Probably like only person who probably realizes this is Zen looking in his eyes. And you can tell Zen that he's going to run. Like he's turning another time. As he does that, Telmoon, you're up though.
Yeah, Telmoon is not scared of the roar. He is smiling because that's his best friend. And he'll go ahead and as he's running by, give him a little fist bump and run directly by this other skeleton because he's a peon and I don't care. You can attack me if you want, but you know what happens when you do.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, it's a skeleton, so I mean, I know the rules, but I'm still going to attack at you. So it tries to hit with a nat 1 and fails.
Okay, that's a 21 to hit for 8 damage.
8 damage on the skeleton.
And then I am going to run down to this other guy and hit him. That is 19 to hit.
19, that hits.
And that would be 5 damage. And then I'm going to use a sorcery point to be able to use Booming Blade as a bonus action.
Okay.
Again, 21 to hit, 11 damage.
It's taking it. Still alive. What do you imagine, like, where are you striking? Where are these killing?
Yeah, because I have my blur. Like, I'm just dancing around, so spinning around of just these doubles, duplicates,
so
flipping.
When he turns to run, he runs into you, and it's just like you stab him the first time. So he pushes away from you and like lights his hands, and now he's frustrated, and then you cut him again. And he's just shrouded, kind of like this dark, almost like a dark sorcerer, but with that golden mask. You can see slowing down, more ichor starting to pour out. Still alive, but struggling. As Telemoon is just dancing around him and finishing his moment. Proxinos, you're up. Oh no, or actually Zen and then Proxenos, right?
Yeah.
Then you're there.
So Zen is going to, if this guy is like turned around running, going to make his way around to the front of him,
Mm-hmm.
and as he's
Gallops
like
by.
as he's turning around to run, he's just gonna turn his ass to the guy and kick him with his horse.
You what an ass. Yep. All right, hooves.
What D4? That's going to be a 19 to hit.
That hits.
All right. 6 damage. He's trying to like angle it up to where his hooves actually connect under his chin to like knock him up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like literally it's a slow motion of you blam like hitting him and him like flying off the ground. And the only reason his mask like almost doesn't fly out is because I imagine because he's a return, it's like just connected to his body. And he just kind of goes flying back and slams against the ground in the dust. And you can see his body barely breathing. He's like heaving. Smoke.
Well, bonus action. This dude, he's gonna.
I'm not gonna make him, prone, but you kicked him back. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I was actually wanting him still like hovering in the air as I kick him in the face. I turn around and bonus action, Fury of Blows, just hit him right in the gut.
Oh, I got you. While he's in the air, got it.
17 to hit.
That's gonna hit.
That is 7 damage.
He's gonna take it.
Just wrecking this dude.
Oh, damn, that was so close. That's 24.
That's gonna hit.
And that's
like the saying of the night. That's gonna hit. I'm just gonna keep saying it.
That is 6.
Six more. All right, 6 more. So, an amazing flurry of movement. Seriously, like could have finished him. He's still in the air, but not enough to finish him off. Not enough to take the glory of the kill, but definitely enough to like put him in the worst place possible. And as he is flying back, he hasn't even necessarily touched the earth yet. Broken ribs inside his chest, a face smashed beyond belief by hooves. We move from Zen to Proxenos, who does have a skeleton in front of him, but depending on what he wants to do.
Proxenos turns back and he walks down to where the skeleton that's cleaving into the innocent bystanders are.
Yep. He does take an opportunity attack. 14.
Misses.
He just walks with purpose, and the skeleton, like, he kind of like just ducks, and this blade goes right over his head, and he just
not caring.
Yep.
And can I make it to the skeleton?
You can,
down there?
because walking downhill it's a lot easier than going up. So you just like literally pull back. You're down there. You're at the skeleton that's attacking the people.
Okay, so
right there, and there.
He strikes at him.
Yep. And the old man is there. The old man was just about to tighten this. It was just about to take a blow to the face.
And 14.
That's going to would that hit? Yep, that's going to hit.
3 damage.
How does he kill the skeleton?
So as Tennis was about to gets like hit by the skeleton, all of a sudden the skeleton's head like bursts from like a wooden sword to the back of the head.
By the gods.
And as Proxenos yawns, whoever looked the most injured in the most injured civilian gets healed
Got it. So the one I'll say that the one was maybe taking death saves. The one that he killed, it was like a middle-aged man who was just trying to protect his family. Went down. The blade, like the stab in his gut, heals up, and he like raises up, and he looks at you, and he goes, "Oh, thank you." And as he's looking at you, Proxinos, can you give me an insight check? Oh my god.
Yes. And that is a 16.
So you kind of look over your shoulder, Proxinos, you realize he's thanking you, but also behind you, the sun is setting enough to where in the sky is like over your shoulder, you look, and you can see Iros in the sky galloping by and stops. And it's kind of like almost like as he was galloping, like he stopped on this thing happening, this situation, and he's now watching. And you know he's watching. If Proxinos is done, then we move to Zen. Oh wait, Zen. Where? No, Zen went first. Pythias. Yep. I'm sorry, Pythias. So Pythias.
Yeah. So I'm going to scramble up that slope and go towards the guy. Yeah. And I'm going to yell out, "It's already over. You can make this stop."
And he's on his back. And because, and maybe you don't even know this, but because they are returned, there's almost like you kind of as a return, you do the things that you did in life. And if you killed in life, if you fought in life, he might have had a chance to retreat, but now it doesn't seem like there's much of it. So he's slowly standing up in front of you and grabbing his blade, his rusty bronze blade, and waveringly holding it up to you with one of his hands starting to crackle with lightning.
Okay. If we're assuming that I know this, then I'm
assuming you know what you see. You see someone with the blade out not trying to surrender.
Yeah. Yep. Then I am going to try to bring the sword down on it.
All right, go for it.
That's a 15.
I think that hits.
Okay.
You guys are killing it tonight.
That is going to be 6 damage with that sword. Unfortunately, I cannot smite.
He has exactly 6 hit points. So how do you finish him? He has exactly 6 hit points. How does he do it?
Yeah, in the split second when I see he's not going to give up, I bring the sword down. I'm bringing it like at his neck, just kind of cleave across the body here.
And it just into finishing him, cleaving him down the middle. When you're done, he drops at your feet, and whatever heroic pose, you're there for it. You're in that moment. Is Thassa ever in your thoughts when you are in this? Do you just reverence her? Do you actually worship her? Do you do things in her name, or is it just more so you know where you come from and Thassa's your deity? You know.
I do worship her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
You don't.
I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing a lot of context for how this fits with her, aside from thwarting possible. I mean, these people said they were acting in the name of Erebos.
That's all I was asking. Okay, perfect. That gives me all I need to know. He's dead. He's gone. Black ichor pours out of the body, the gray ashen body, as it's finished. And in the moment he goes down, the last skeleton that is fighting Apodixis, or just sorry for butchering your name, but yeah, it's just we're gonna have to be having like short versions of everybody's names, like Apo, like I'm gonna be like Apple Toro,
Fox, call me Fox.
Yeah. And then suddenly just that skeleton just crumbles in front of you, going into bones. So does the one up on the top that basically up here crumbles it's like they lose whatever magical essence drops them to back to death. It's over. And with it being over, I turn it over to you all, like kind of just to have like last moments of, as you're kind of catching your breath, what's happening here.
Moon will nod at his two new companions. Yeah, you did well. You'll make worthy followers of the great Taroxys as he finds his glory. And you'll see the glow that's surrounding him slowly start to fade as he starts trying to crawl back up towards Taroxys, and he just faints at his feet.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, first Taroxys is going to reach down and grab the bent up, busted mask of the one that he killed and wave it at Apodexis. I have a unique one for you. And then he tosses it like a frisbee.
Apodexis will do that, like just pounce up and grab it.
And then he grabs Telmoon and just like fireman carries him over his shoulders like this is not new. They've got this routine down. This happens. So he just yeets him over his shoulders and just kind of leaves him there.
DM, the
Yes.
horses that were being ridden by the returned,
Yes.
where are they? Like they ran off completely, you can't see them anymore?
I
or-
imagine this happened so fast that they continued running, but like it happened so quick that there's still enough time to where like you could try to track them down. I'd probably just make you make either nature or animal handling checks to try to rein them in, or they're gonna run free and not. So there's like you pretty much see them in the distance, like there go those two horses. Like you can try.
Are they 90 feet away?
Yes, they're within 90 feet.
Proximos
That all
cast
happened in
sleep.
what, 2 rounds? That all happened in 12 seconds. So I'm gonna imagine they're. I imagine that the first horse probably got away. So there's probably 2 horses in that 90 feet range.
Okay.
Yep.
Proximos cast sleep on him.
Okay. Do I need to make any save for the horses?
So I roll the dice. It's
Uh-huh, and
5d8,
it's
and
hit
if
points.
it's more than that, they fall asleep.
Go for it. They're considered riding horses from the D&D manual. So yep, you should
So
be able to do it.
9.
Yeah, hit like a
10,
22,
16.
bro.
16.
That's enough. Hit
Nope.
points 13. They both go to sleep.
Only one goes to
Oh,
sleep.
one goes
will.
to sleep. Okay,
yeah,
so
it subtracts from the total every time.
Oh, I got you.
knock
So
them
the
down.
one white horse, which is the closest one, which is the one that the main wizard one or the sorcerer was sitting on, that one falls and collapses in the wheat fields, not far right here, not far away from Apodexis.
Okay. And Proximus goes over to the one that he healed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the one that
Yeah.
you healed is still there as well.
Yeah. He kind of makes sure that it's doing okay, and he's looking at it as his new companion, or
It kind of nuzzles him a bit. Happy to be alive and well. The other horse is sleeping.
So with the body of the one that I just killed, I want to, with my foot, nudge him onto his back and use the tip of the sword to pull up the golden mask.
Okay. So as
And,
you pull up, yep. As you do, what you see behind me is no eyes, no nose, and just the slit where the mouth is. Almost like a person who has lost their identity. They've lost their face of what they were. I mean, it's mostly smashed and mangled from what you did to it, or what even Zen did to it with the hooves. But it's that's what you see. Now you see the mask fall off, and he appears to have like a satchel that could contain information or anything like that.
Well, I do want to look through that, but before that, I want to pick up the mask with the sword
Yep. Holding
and turn to Apodexis and it seems like these things are dangerous. Yes?
He just yells out, "Do not put it on."
I didn't plan to, but this one's mine, and I'll use the sword to put it in my bag. And then I would like to look in the satchel that he has.
And so when you look in the satchel, what you find, he has about 20 silver pieces in this satchel in a bag of its own. And then you find a piece of pottery, like a piece of a broken mask. Can you give me an insight check? And I would ask you to give it to me at disadvantage because you are not from the world of like the ground dwellers or the land dwellers. So you need to give me a insight check. It's like and it looks like the piece of a mask, but it's not gold. This mask looks like it's made of pottery. It's porcelain.
Okay,
Pottery.
absolutely.
Oh, Malcolm,
Yes.
would I have seen Proxenos cast the sleep spell on the horses?
With you being up on that hill, I would assume no, because he's so far away from you. It might not be visible, but what you could do is just give me a perception check, and I'm gonna tell you that the DC is a 13.
All right, perception. You can go ahead, do Colin.
Yep. And we're going
Yeah,
to be
so yeah,
so for like the next 5-10 minutes, wrapping things up because kind of get everybody's final thoughts as we close today's episode.
So disadvantage insight was 11.
Okay. And so what you realize is, while you don't know it completely, this mask seems to be similar enough to the ones that they're wearing, and it looks like this may be some type of something that the humans do when people die, maybe something that they put on them, some kind of funerary type mask. But it's broken, and the piece that it is, but what you do see is when you turn it over, etched on the inside of that piece reads, hold on, I want to read this specifically, what it's supposed to say. It says, "Silence the heretic Serav. His secrets must remain dead. Silence the heretic Serav. His secrets must remain dead."
Okay. Being relatively trusting and knowing that Apodexis has knowledge of these guys with masks on, I will try to get his attention. Like, do you know what this means?
And Apodexis, before going up, he'll grab that mask.
The mask, the one that, yep.
That Fitz killed, and then just kind of toss it to Fitz, going, "You're first." And his version of a crazy, like, Leonin smile. Like,
so you catch this heavy ass golden mask. Could be worth.
It
could be worth 100, 200 gold.
She is on the ground having a true panic attack, saying like, not a party. That was not a party. Oh yeah, we're okay. Freaking out.
Nice.
Yeah, if that mask clambers near her, she will give you a thumbs up and just kind of like,
and then he'll just bound up to where Pythias is.
Okay, and so you're where Pythias is, and
I got a 21 on perception.
Oh, and what were you asking me for that? Oh, that was for the
horses.
Yes, so you did see the horses.
He's just gonna run off and go get them.
Okay, so he starts bringing the horses back. So here's what we'll say: is in these any last questions or anything last things you're doing with the bodies or investigations or things like that. The people are kind of like still clutching, and now the sun is really starting to set as the Nyx is really starting to come out. The stars and the constellations are starting to show themselves. We're one of the gentlemen comes up and goes, we really should have been to the city by now. We'll have to, still only in about an hour, we'll have to travel by night. Still turning over to you all.
Also,
Cool. Sounds great.
oh, if I'm seeing Fitz freaking out, I'll kind of yell at like, "Do you require assistance?"
Like a hug would be great.
Can somebody?
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Anybody?
Zen's gonna trot up. I don't know about a hug, but would you like to go for a run?
Great, let's just walk it off. We'll walk it off. Let's walk it off.
He'll put his hand out to Fitz.
Reaches
Puts
out
her on
to
the back, like a kid, like you're, doing a piggyback for your son or something, and just haul ass.
the wind blowing through her hair. It's fantastic.
So Taroxes is going to bring Telmun over to the old man's cart where Proxenos was sleeping, and if Proxenos is nearby enough, he's just going to say, I hope you don't mind company in your restive state. And he kind of just sets Telmun up inside the cart and makes him as comfortable as possible. Just kind of leans his head over and makes sure he's stable.
Proxenos, actually, let me help. As he puts his shield and puts like the wool cover over it, so he has a pillow, and then he puts one of his nice linen cloaks over him as a blanket.
And then Taroxes gives Telmun like a little pats on the head and then resumes walking beside the cart.
Come, Maximus. As he gets onto to his now horse, he is named Maximus.
Nice.
And I think Apodexis would, looking at the mask that Pythias has handed him, would, in his mind, be trying to have a conversation with Erebos, kind of asking, like, what, if you tell me this is what I need to do, then why would you send these returned?
Which
and
say Apodexis, which mask are you holding?
the porcelain
Oh, the porcelain that has the thing that's etched in that says "Do not let."
that has the name.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be what he would kind of ask, and then wonder why.
And he's not hearing any response.
Oh yeah, Proxenos looks up at the sky, and does he still see Iros?
Nyros is as like the night sets in, he sees him there kind of in his glory, and then Iros kind of turns and looks back one more time and then rides off into the stars. Just kind of disappears.
Proxenos makes a prayer.
Prayer goes up. If that is everything everyone wants to share, then they move on, and eventually I could go through all the amazing things they see after they have to cross the Phalanx, the bridge on their way into Akros, as the Stracians who hide meet them, who are the Acroian, the epitome of the best of their warriors, who would have escorted them into the gates. They are allowed in because, again, they do know that people are coming for the Iron Games. They enter this beautiful, majestic city. There's a point where they have to walk and see this giant, awesome statue that looms over the Colossus of Akros. and eventually we'll continue on. We'll find out where they go, where they rest their head, what they do in that city, but we'll leave them actually just entering. But before they actually enter the gates, and Akros is essentially sitting on a after you cross a bridge to get to it. That's why it's so heavily. You get the idea that after you cross that bridge, after you climb what they call these stairs that are built into the side of a giant mountain, you realize that this is one of the most fortified cities that Theros has. And it is an awe to behold. This is the city that you see behind you. But before you enter the gates, the old man thanks you for your time and thanks you for your purchases. But he tells the group, I have a few things to take care of on here, but I like to sell outside the gates. There might be another group coming through a little bit later. And he bids you all farewell. He actually asked that Telmoon, by the time Telmoon's rested, he just says, is there any chance you are willing to sell a mask or two that I saw you pick up? Looking to the party, what do they say?
What are they worth?
I'll give you 100 gold coins for a mask.
Fitz kind of looks at Apodexis, and with her hand kind of wrapped around a cloak, pulls out the mask that he tossed at her and kind of looks at him almost for like permission to see if it's okay if she could sell it.
He steps forward and just be like,
he looks at the mask. He goes, no,
see the emotion.
Not this one. Another one. Not this one. This one I don't want.
Well, that's not very nice. Gosh.
I'm sorry.
Apodexis will open the bag and he just tosses the other ones in the ground.
No man starts to dig through them. He picks out one of them and he goes, this one will do fine. Can I get a perception check from everyone? Also, my snap filter isn't working right. I don't look like the old man anymore.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't know why it broke. It broke.
And it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Malcolm, I'll gladly roll perception. I was about to say I'd like to use divine sense.
Okay.
But let me roll perception first, just in
it.
case.
Perception or insight, whatever this is supposed to be, that is a 9 for me.
I got a 5. Proxenos isn't like interacting with this at all. He has been on Maximus. He has been slowly walking towards Akros and staring at the gates.
Okay, and just staring. And what did you get, Pythias?
7.
Okay. So
I got a 14.
I got a 21.
So Zen with the 21.
Well, it's the character that don't give a flying F.
Zen, you look as he's handing over, as the mask is being presented from Apodexis, and you realize that on the inside, unlike the other masks, there seem to be all of these strange glyphs carved, like etched into the mask. Something you didn't. And so you see Apodexis handing it over, or like about to, make the purchase for what do you do? Maybe that means nothing to you. I'm not like.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's the problem.
Yeah. So he takes it and he goes, "Thank you." So 100. And how about? Would you like me to give that to the young lass? And he's still willing to give it to Fitz.
Oh, young lass. You want to give it to young lass?
Yours was great too.
And Apodexis just looks like completely broken. Like he doesn't know what to do, so he just kind of, like quietly and solemnly picks the other masks up and then just like sticks them in the bag, and then like just you see him kind of like shrink down.
And if I use divine sense, do I sense anything? It would only be if he is a celestial fiend or undead.
He or
well, just anything within 60 feet.
Anything within 60 feet. You do sense celestial energy coming from the old man. And though he kind of looks at you like, and he just stares at you, Pythias, as he's putting the mask. But he doesn't do anything as he's putting the mask away.
No, the deal's done. I'm not
anything?
interfere.
I mean, I'm always willing to sell it back if that's what you want. Something to say, Seaman?
I'm just watching.
We all are. And so he goes, well, good traveling with you all. Going to go make some more purchases. I think I'll sit out here for a little bit. I'm protected. Nothing gonna hurt anyone outside of good old Akros. Proxinos, and he kind of waves to Proxinos, but Proxinos already like walking inside the gates. That boy's interesting. You guys watch him. Something else. And then as you pass inside the gates, they close. Any last thoughts as you like anything anybody else just wants to share, just in case I'm not leaving anything on the table?
As the gates close in around and entering Akros, Proxinos with a heavy sigh says, "Mother, father, brother, I'm back home."
Awesome. And actually, as Proxino says that, we will kind of, as he says he's back home, kind of camera starts to push towards the sky, and we kind of pull back on the grandness that is Akros, and then we get a full picture of the sky, the Nyx, in all of its glory, and Iros, it stands over the city itself, preparing for his glorious games, and also having kind of nodding his head towards a group that he's watched on their way in, and kind of rears up on his hinds. And as we do, we will crash to black and end tonight's episode there. You guys, credits run the mind's eye screen. Thank you guys for playing. Good stuff.
Session
So
0.
excited to be back. Let's go.
Yeah.
Can you believe that guy didn't want my gold mask? Oh my god. That's all Fitz is saying the whole way into the city.
Someone pretends to go back to sleep. No, I mean, honestly, I really wanted to try to get like a Jason and the Argonauts or like a Achilles and the Myrmidon thing going on. So now that this group is starting to go together, Telmoon's super excited. He thinks he's going to be bringing a lot of glory to Taroxis' name. And hopefully a little for the rest of us too.
Yeah, this is not the Taroxis club. Although that was
yet.
some clutch. There was some clutch moves.
Oh yeah.
Bro, the Rune Knight has so many abilities. Like, oh,
It's so good.
If I hadn't have killed that dude, the next thing I was gonna activate was the Fire Rune, which is ridiculous. Because when you hit them, it summons fiery shackles that restrain them on a strength check, and then does 2d6 fire damage per turn, just
Oh,
while they're restrained
No,
for a
it's
minute.
nasty.
these are level 1 through 3 characters. It's just insane.
And once you hit them too.
Yeah.
The first hit, it does 2d6, and then after that, it's just constantly burning them away. It's amazing.
I'm just having panic attacks. It's fine.
Oh wait, you didn't
Totally
use
fine.
Giant's Might this fight, did you?
No, I've still got 2 charges of that.
Oh fuck!
I'm gonna use those in the games.
He wasn't doing, dude. He wasn't doing nearly as much damage as you thought he was.
Let's see.
Oh,
The old man was freaking Phoenix.
So, speaking of, as those credits end, somewhere in the mix, in the world behind us, as the stars form, we see that where that old man was, we see his form fall, and we see just a golden mask in the sky. And he goes, "They were quite interesting. But I'm so surprised they gave up the mask so willingly. Well, let the games begin." Crash to black.
Fucking Phoenix, dude. Dude's a.
Man.
Yeah, how many piety points did Renee just lose?
I was like,
Oh, no.
Apodex is about to be apoplectic.
Oh my gosh. Yes, the old man was Phoenix.
Oh, God.
Hey, I got it right from Phoenix.
Yeah.
You
There you
did.
go. I appreciate the short rest, Mel. That was kind of insane.
That was good. That was fun. I'm excited to see where it goes for sure.
We're rocking session 0. Just ooh,
That
was
everything you could
great.
want.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what we can actually do.
I think it's fun to play like younger, unknown, like they know nothing, like because this is gonna cost them. Like it's cool.
It's going to be really great education for them.
Like when you're playing a Telltale game, in the top right corner, your actions have consequences.
yeah. Oh god. We will remember this.
That was great.
That was good. That was a lot of fun.
But by the way, Malcolm, I was hoping that I could get the other horse too, so that they could ride a carriage.
You have both horses. You have 2.
Yeah.
Yep. You got 2 horses. Yep.
Yeah, Zin went and caught one, I think.
Yeah, and he
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get a carriage and have both of them carry me.
that okay, sounds good. Let me
So
make
he
note.
could just sleep on a cart while the horses bring him with us.
You gonna go buy a carriage now?
Yay
Yeah.
or nay on the Snapchat filters? Do you guys like them?
Oh, they're
I love them.
hilarious.
They're hilarious.
I was not expecting it, and then as soon as you popped out, it's a completely different face.
I've got them
First the horns, that was great.
Unfortunately, the horns with the background, it makes it a
They
little hard to
blended
see.
right
But
in.
it was
It makes it,
super
I
dope.
couldn't see I knew the horns didn't work with the background, with that particular background, but there's some great ones. Like
Those were great.
Want to be a
I'm
hop
gonna
light.
go on record.
You
and
guys
say,
can get these too. You guys can use them too. So
That's so cool.
when you use like the I one, I was like, this dude's just gonna play Kratos right now. We're talking to the Lord of Storms. All right.
yeah, that was my first group actually met talked to Karanos in the first game. So yeah, I'll post this one. This is gonna be good. It'll be fun.
I'm so excited for where this is going.
Yeah,
I
no
really
one
like-
really
Yeah.
looked in the mask. No one ever really, but it wasn't enough time. But it was just like I knew things were happening, but I was like, no one really was investigating. Because the reason I moved on is because Apodexis killed the guy so fast and just put the mask away. He didn't even like.
Mhm.
Bro.
So
8
there
wisdom,
goes
8
Renee. Is,
intelligence. I can't be like, hey, I wanna go investigate that mask you have there. Like,
Yeah,
don't
I
care.
think that's really cool too, because we're all so generally young and inexperienced. Like, we don't know what to look out for,
Mhm.
but that'll
Yeah.
make for even better storytelling.
That guy, because that's what's funny, because Apodexis is going into this like all returns, you got to kill him. But like that return was clearly running from other returns who had different whatever goals
and-
or whatever they were. Yeah.
And those returns are hunting. We're saying, hey, we're part of Erebos.
Erebos. So here's the
So
guy who is like, I worship Erebos, and he's like,
murdering
wait,
his.
what?
Yeah.
And he did read. You were the one who read the message of we have to silence this one person, right?
Yep.
And you still gave up the mask. Renee, you just asking for trouble.
Your
No, wait,
actions
wait,
have
do we-
consequences.
I
Yeah,
thought
that's-
Pythias gave it to a Papa.
You
Bro,
gave
No.
you're getting a nickname. You're
Well,
getting a
you gave-
nickname.
You
Renee.
gave me the
I
mask.
think
It's
for
just
the next game, I'm
Apotexis.
going to nickname everyone.
Beautiful.
Pythias still has the mask.
No, who?
I have the mask that I got from the one guy, but
Yeah,
I
the
showed you
porcelain.
the
He
Yeah,
I showed you the
the
porcelain
clay ones.
mask.
Yeah.
It had the
Right?
message.
I took
Yeah.
the mask from you. I took the mask that I wanted from you, Apodexis, which is the first guy you killed, the guy you beat.
Yeah.
You gave me that.
Okay.
That you chopped. Yeah, that was
That's
running.
the mask I
That's the
wanted.
mask. Okay.
But
The other
that was
guy's
after
mask
reading.
had a clay pot that said "kill." Silence the guy that you had the mask of. You gave me the
Yeah.
silence guy's mask. So Phoenix has it now,
But
basically.
I'm pretty sure Pythias actually asked Apodexis to read that.
Yeah,
Even
I
before
asked
that
him,
happened.
read this. Do you know what this means? Because I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be
Yeah,
can't
probably
wait to-
negative by 80 points.
But that's the cool thing also about this campaign, because if, let's say, you guys keeping that mask was a hook to another adventure, it's open world. So if you don't go on that adventure, you just don't go. Like, if you might circle back to it later, it's not required, for anything to continue on.
I'm hyped to compete in the games, and I hope some of the other parties compete in the games too. It's just going to be great.
I'm
time.
definitely
I am just
Save that
ridiculously
skill
hard to
weapon.
touch. That's really my only ability.
Bro, I
I'll
gave
just
you guys
cheerlead from the
essentially-
edge.
because knowing there's 8 of you and every D&D is pretty much made for 4 or 5 people, just with the sheer numbers, I added this, like, took this basic encounter and added the skeletons.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I adding the sorcerer guy that can shoot the bolts, made it a deadly encounter. No, it wasn't. That just shows you how, like, D&D.
It could have
If
been.
they would
It
have
could've
all
been.
went
would have
first,
died.
flanked us.
There was
it would've
two
been
nat
problems.
20s that could have obliterated someone.
Yeah.
So, like, his bolt, had it hit, that first one would have done 2d8 plus, like, 3. And then that nat 20 that he made me re-roll would have been 4d8.
Yeah, that would have
Yeah,
killed
so
me.
we canceled
So
2
that-
nat 20s.
You guys canceled 2 nat 20s this week.
And this
I
is
have 9
going
hit
against the
points.
guys who are level 1 that you're doing this to.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's strength in numbers. They should be fine. And I was right.
Well, that's why us level 3 people try to run in front. All of a sudden,
Yeah, we were
Sleepyhead
trying to
was
body
like,
block.
"Oh, I'm gonna come stand next to you," and I'm like, "Really? All right, die then."
So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna dish out experience points at the end of the night. I'll put them in the Discord. I'll put them in the campaign. Jason, you kind of got it. So Jason, I wasn't saying that I'm gonna do experience points and at some point switch to milestones. I'm gonna be doing experience points throughout the whole thing, and there's gonna be certain episodes where I milestone.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
So there's
cool.
always going to be experience points. What I'm going to also do, though, is when I give out piety, it won't necessarily be for the god that you worship. It might be for another god because
Got
another
it.
god was watching. If you guys get that piety, so also as things go on, everyone may not get piety points at the end of the episode, but I did promise if you were level 1 and you made it through a first episode, you get 3. If you're level, what I didn't say is who gives you that +3. So, for example, Pythias may worship Thassa, but he may get 3 piety points from Iros. If he accepts that, long as Iros and Thassa aren't having conflict, he can keep the benefits. If at any point those 2 gods clash, he
Oh,
will have to choose to lose the piety. He'll have to
That's
choose
dope.
between those gods.
That's
Oh,
dope.
man.
I love
So-
that.
Chess.
I
I
love
ain't playing
that.
checkers anymore.
Yes. So that's how piety is going to work. Whereas, like, so just because, Taraxis is looking for piety from Perforos, he may get it from someone else. And then as long as things are cool with those gods, he can stack those. But when shit goes wrong, it might be like, if you ever turn on a god, like, for example, who like hates each other, like, for example, Mogus and,
Pyros.
Pyros. That's a perfect example.
Erebos and
You have
Heliod.
to choose between those 2 and lose the others. That's how it
This is gonna be great fun.
works.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll dish those out after I think about them a little bit, who's getting what, and I'll let you guys know what you're getting. But that was a good first game.
I'm really excited.
Hey,
Yeah.
man, you gotta have your math down for that XP for me, man. I would be like,
I know
Wait,
I'm gonna
that
match it out. I'm gonna do it. I'm
that
gonna do it
tasty
tonight.
XP, bro. I need it.
Alrighty, I gotta run.
Yeah, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Take care.
Later,
And
man.
I'll see you
All right,
next
Josh.
time.
Glad playing with you as a friend for once.
It's great. I think we're doing great.
Weird.
I know, isn't that so strange, right? Like the group is helping each
Ugh.
other. Oh man. So I'm thinking
It's
you
weird
guys
not
are-
playing like a stabby character.
I mean,
know.
you threw some
Well, I mean,
daggers.
you stabbed the most out of all of us. What was
I
that?
only
You
stabbed
really
one.
did.
I stabbed
You
one, and I did
threw
it out
it
of
90
fear.
feet in the air and had it come down in his eye. Like, that was...
But Rexy would have handled that completely differently.
This
Any
is true.
character that I had would have handled that completely
No,
differently.
Rexy would have deliberately not killed him, asked for his wallet, after
Cut his
giving him the
kneecaps
wallet,
off.
let him run, let him try to walk away, slit his Achilles.
Just kind of brutal.
Kind of
Stick his
brutal.
finger in it,
Yeah.
start drawing
Later,
Renee.
faces on him with the
It was
blood.
fun.
Time for me to put
I
the
don't.
kids to
Yeah,
bed,
I don't
so-
realize it.
Later, Renee. Thanks for playing, man.
All right, Renee.
So it's 11. I might round it up, so I'll make it equal, but it's supposed to be 11. It's 1150 XP points.
Dude, that'll bring our level 1s all the way to level 3.
Will it?
Sweet.
If I split it between 8, oh, it's
Oh,
not.
no, not if you split
No,
it.
no, no. I got no, not 1150 each. No, I know that would.
Yeah, I was like, dang, like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, no,
crazy.
no. So it should
It was
be
a
like,
deadly encounter, didn't you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need 300 to get to
64.
level
You get
2.
300 to get to level 2, right? So
That would be so
Yeah.
awesome.
Would be nice.
Yeah. I could be a
Zen,
little
or Troy,
squishy.
what level are you?
where's
3? Okay, so we have 3 at 3. Or what about Renee? Do we know what level he's at?
I can look. He's at.
I
So
think
we have
he's
3
level
at 3, 1 at 2, and the rest are at 1.
Colin, Nikki.
But you all get the same number of XP. So that's
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you get the
Yeah.
same.
No, I'm just trying to make sure I know in my head so we're like, as we play, also kind
Who's
of
the
positioning for who has XP
Mhm.
and who doesn't. Because even though in my head, Colin
Right, who looks weaker?
wouldn't be squishy compared to us, I actually have more hit points than him right now.
Yeah, you do. That gives an extra level of like thought to the game because it's kind of. I wanted to try the idea that when you meet people you don't know, you shouldn't just be like we're all level 1, so we're good. Like we're all.
Yeah, I didn't think about that at all. I was just like, you know what? Let me get. I knew I was okay. I was like, let me get in the front, and we'll be all right. And
I
Wow,
like
that
that,
bolt-
though.
Me up though. Like that lightning hit that I took
yeah,
hurt.
dude,
Yeah.
I was praying you weren't level 1 when he said he was going to hit you with the nat 20. I
That
was
would've-
like, oh, please don't insta kill him right now. Like,
And my goal is that level 3 people ensure that they survive long enough to but they don't get the same amount. So like by the time you end up because let's face it, you start to slow down and get experience points. So the lower people will catch up. So by the time they catch up, not only will they catch up if they've survived long enough, but they should have more piety. Doesn't mean they will, but they should have,
yeah.
as long as they keep worshiping their gods and doing their biddings. That's another thing about piety, because you can get to like 15 and then suddenly that god shows up and is like, guess what? I need you to go on a quest like now. And you're like, but I'm on a quest already. And they're like, no. I need you to leave the group and go do this. And if you can't do it, and if the group's not willing, give me your shit back.
Cancel order. You're doing this.
We got some petty ass gods out here. Huh?
All the
All
gods
right,
are petty.
I know we
Yeah.
was going full Iliad level petty. Like I thought we was going like
Unless I talk to your
Hollywood.
DM's god and they say otherwise. So I will consult your DM's god. Now, if that DM already has the god, then it defers to me as the DM over them, because then Renee and Nick on it.
See,
Just
that's
Nick actually
usually
will do
what
some
I'm
really
saying.
interesting stuff.
Yeah, I was
No,
trying to
there's,
leave
like-
my gods with you because I was worried about favoritism. If I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make sure I choose gods with Nick and Renee, because they might just be like, yep, give it to him because I'm part of his party.
I'm afraid they're going to be extra fierce.
Yeah, that's what I'd be worried. I'd be worried that Renee is. I'd be worried that he'd be
Renee.
extremely diabolical, whatever god he's running.
Yeah.
But
Think about Nick. Nick will give you all the gifts. Just don't transfer it to his game because he's gonna be like, oh, remember all that stuff I gave you? I gave it
Yep.
to them too.
Nick will probably tell me, you know what? I gave him all this stuff. You know what you should throw at him? This creature. You know,
Exactly.
I like it. Nick will show like, I made this one. You should just try this one I made.
No.
Here, this is
like
this
it.
is some of the good shit.
Yeah.
We don't
Plus-
need no more news running around, Nick. New would have been good for this campaign, though. If you do want to drop it on another group,
Oh, that would be
Oh
great.
man.
it's
like
600
the-
hit points and evolves every 150 points it loses.
I really like the green screen works well for this campaign. Like I really like the backgrounds and stuff. I don't know, but
Oh, those are dope.
yeah, trying
was
to get
fun.
that.
Yeah.
It was kind
One,
of
the
fun to
old
try to-
man killed me. Like just seeing you, that I was just like, this is hard to focus. This is
That
so
was great.
There's gonna be plenty more of those NPCs and that stuff. So yeah, get ready. It's good stuff. And so if you want to know my inspirations, they're always gonna be the 300 movies, the kind of like the Zack Snyder like stuff, as well as kind of the old Clash of the Titans kind of.
I better see a Clockwork Owl at some point.
Yeah, you will see a clockwork. I actually have one sitting on the table right here. Like,
Nice.
so yes, you will see the animal rot stuff. Oh yeah, it's good. It's I will say, what I love the world, and I love Magic the Gathering's art is just so phenomenal. So the art is what inspires me too.
Top
So
tier.
it's top tier.
Yeah.
It's literally better than because you start going down the rabbit hole. It's also so much of it. You're just like, oh shit, because of all these cards. For every
like
card, there's some
2
art.
million artists constantly
Yeah.
just drawing stuff
Wow.
up. They draw up like 5 to 10 cards.
I'm
It's
gonna
not
make
always
a
the same
reel.
artist every set.
I'm gonna make a reel. I'm gonna spend some time, but I'm gonna like I normally some of my other games like I do with Tales from the Loop stuff. But I did think I did it with Curse of Strahd once, but before the game, and I'll play it and have like a reel of the art because some of it is just so good you have to show it. Like there's one where like the ladies washed on shore and all the Triton are like dead, and their like gills are open, and it's just like, oh my god! Like every image tells so evocative of like the story behind it. You just makes you just want to know. The story, like, you know, the different cultures. I love like the citizens. Like I've never had anybody write the story, but why Amazonia would work. Like how would it work? And they do it right in this world. They do like the women run the entire police, and all of the men at a certain age go off to find their own way in the world, and they typically don't come back. And so the men go on this journey, and then the women run like the military and all the stuff. Yeah, they just get the fuck out. And then all the kids are run, they're called like little cubs or little bears. And then the kids are all kind of raised like a village. And they're all in the forest. So every group that's playing is starting in a different city. So my home group started in Satessa. You guys started in Akros. The group next week is journeying to Satessa, and they're taking a group of kids, a group of orphans to Satessa. So they'll be going through those woods. But you guys will be able to travel to everywhere. So anywhere on the map. So
It's
should be
only
interesting.
200 miles, so it's like
But remember, those 200 miles morph because I don't know if you've read the part in the book that talks about the way the gods change them constantly, because nothing is ever really the same. So like in this world, in Theros, like you could go on the same journey and be like, I know it only takes 3 days to get here. Like they say usually things stay the same between the polis, but when it comes to like going to Socros, some of the other places, it's weird. It's like the place is constantly morphing, and so shit changes. So what might have taken you 3 days, the first travel, might take you 8 days going back. The islands constantly keep shifting because the gods keep changing them. You know, stuff like that, you know. Like people don't even know their lore. People don't even really know their history past a certain amount of like years, because like it's all a big blur. It's just, and that's also what makes it cool for DMs. You can easily morph things because of that. It lends itself to that.
Mhm.
And
50
it's
years is basically eons in Theros.
Yeah. No one will say like 10 years ago, 40 years ago, this happened. They'll just be like, in times past. Because like nobody knows, you know, it's just how it is. But what's cool is that all of the gods exist. So like if the people if like you want the ice cream god, he wouldn't just manifest, but like it fits one of the ice cream god. If she and all of her people created ceremonies to the ice cream gods, and over the next 100 years, they actually practiced the stuff about the ice. They talked about the ice cream god. They sang songs about the ice cream god. The ice cream god would eventually manifest and become real, and then we'll start warring with all the other gods.
That feels like Jester with the Traveler, with her
Yeah.
like little pamphlets everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so very cool stuff.
Um,
It's good to be back. It's good to be back on the table, and I love having all the miniatures that you guys created. It feels so much more like your own, So
I can't wait
Still trying to
to.
pose mine right.
I'm worried about that Wanda Smiles. Like that could
Oh,
get us.
God.
I'm
Oh my
so
God.
excited. I sent Malcolm a message
a long
like,
time
a
ago
long
too.
time ago, and I was like, so I just started watching Critical Role Campaign 2, and yes, I want the wand of smiles.
Obviously.
I
I
literally
did not
dropped it in.
expect
I
it
was
to
like,
pop up.
first campaign, make it available, but make it expensive. And then you went and made it like twice as cheap, and I was like, all right.
I found that spell, and it felt like the perfect mischievous satyr thing to have.
I was good.
Distort
I was like,
value.
she'll have to, because I was like, I'll make it available to her, but like somebody's gonna have to give her money. Well, actually, how much money did I? Because I showed you roll for it. So how much money did you have?
gave
I
us a
had
lot of money.
150 gold.
So you were fine. Yeah, you were good. I gave you too much.
I
But
just didn't
originally,
want to-
days before, I didn't think you were gonna have that much. So I was like, somebody would have to give her some money for it, or they'll have to like be willing to.
Please.
But
I'm so
got
glad
it.
you have
Great.
distort value.
That's the first time I've seen that spell in action.
I
I have
love
never seen. Yeah, that was great. She's like,
I was trying when I was looking at
Yeah.
spells. It's like, let me pick things, not necessarily because they're good for the party, but because they're good for the character,
I love
and
people
that
that
they'll
do that.
create cool moments.
I
I
feel
know
like
I know a campaign that does that spell a lot. Usually you don't do it to something that someone like was already just holding because they'll investigate it. But you'll be like,
I was
hey, maybe I'll
wondering.
barter with you. And you pull something out and be like, yo, this now is double.
That's
the...
what you. I investigated, but I rolled like I rolled like a 5, I think, on that.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That did not succeed.
yeah. So it
But
was-
that was
Therefore,
a
you picked the
ballsy
god.
use of that spell. I was like, all right, I see you.
I was trying to just do wacky things right out the gate.
yeah, it was good.
Because
It was good.
I imagine that she is just like fascinated with the world. She's finally out of wherever she was. She's like, is this how people do it? All right.
What I love
Please
about
don't
your
have someone
character.
explain the character to you, the world to you, because I have the most jaded, biggest concepts of how things are supposed to run, as you can tell.
I have a feeling she'll just interview everyone. Be like, so what do you think about it? What were you
I love
saying?
it.
You guys
What I
mopped
love
up
is
those things.
you're like a Jester Caleb combination. Like
Yeah.
hearing the whole saving throw thing, I was like, oh man, is this gonna happen every combat? This is gonna be real interesting.
So say
By the way-
Yeah.
and then Tulum with the
I'm really
whole like
excited.
I'm just gonna run at people and then and then just run away and then they just get automatic opportunity of attack. I like it. It's dangerous, but it's a good move.
Yeah.
I am very hard to hit, bro.
I know.
Like-
So and what gives you that ability?
It's a combination of once per short rest, I can do my ancestral, which gives me the riposte.
Okay.
But also, I have instead of taking a heroic feat, I took a regular feat. So I took the mobile feat from Nylea. So that's why if I attack someone normally, I can actually hit someone and just run away from them, or swing at them and run away, and it acts as a disengage. But for the ones that I don't, I just think it's funny that like I can choose what I'm doing. So if I'm
That's
sitting next to two
crazy.
people, I can swing at one, run away from both. The other will try an attack opportunity. If he misses, I swing at him too, and then keep running.
Nuts.
Good times, man. That low level, it works. Higher level, I don't know what it'll look like.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Damn, you're 18 to hit. That's you fucking.
I'm an 18 to hit, and at level
Oh.
4, I'll become a 19 to hit. So
What? And that's because of the
That's
spell.
crazy.
that's because during that period, I add my charisma to my AC, but normally I'm an 18 to hit anyway because of mage armor.
This is
So it's
crazy.
13 plus. It's 13
All right.
plus my dex
All right.
plus my shield.
All right. Y'all asking for hydras at level in like 2 more episodes. Y'all.
No, thank you.
But
You're just gonna
remember,
send me
half of
into
our
the
party
world.
is level 1.
I'm joking, but
Those of us that chose level 3 came at you like, yo, we're level 3, but we're also heroes at level 3.
actually, I gotta tell Josh too. He should probably be higher because he is. Okay. He honored what I said. He chose half plate, but he could choose heavy armor if he wants because he is the armor. So
Yeah, I don't have any armor.
he can go up.
Like
higher.
I'm just
Josh,
me.
Josh could probably go up.
I have
to,
a shield.
He could probably go up to 18 or 19 if he wants to.
That's dope. Yeah.
He would take the disadvantage on the stealth, but actually half plate is already.
Now
I got that covered.
By the way, Malcolm, how long did it take us to get to Akros?
It took you 2 days.
2 days. And when I was awake, that was 2 hours because we took an extra hour to get
so
down
you've been
there. So
awake for about-
I have 4 hours that I can maintain consciousness.
And I'm gonna ask you to track that because I'm never gonna remember.
And that's the thing I wanted to add in there is the little wooden shield or the wooden shield that he carries. He's literally carving the amount of time he has.
Nice.
He
That's
keeps
that's
track.
kind of what I thought. That's what I
Yeah.
figured. Okay. That's
So you haven't
pretty-
shown
have,
what
like,
makes
We're
you
gonna
useless.
weekend at Bernie's him, man. That's all. Like
Yeah.
through most of this campaign is just gonna be like,
It's
You
all
should have
we're
like
gonna have to
mending
grab
or something
somebody
so you can fix
'cause-
your shield.
because she can faint and go like static. I fall asleep after my fights if I use my ancestral
oh
ability.
my god.
Oh, so
You
you,
just
you have a
fall
lot. So that's actually a thing. You just collapse after a fight.
It's
And when
not.
you use-
It's not. It's just
Oh.
I need a short rest to get it back.
Got it.
So
you get-
I
okay.
flavored it to where because I'm still learning the power that it takes a lot out of me, and I
Oh my god,
immediately took
Fitz,
a
you're
short
so
rest.
easy to hit.
I know. I'm so weak.
Oh no.
And then we
That's
have
why I
Paul
was
Fitz
so
in the
scared.
back who showed up to the role play session like, oh, we're in battle.
Oh my
Like,
god, I've been looking at you guys' backstories, but I haven't really paid. This is my fault. I haven't like really gone. Fitz got like 9 hit points. Thank God
I
she didn't
know.
get hit. Like
I know.
that's
why she was
crazy.
having a full-blown panic attack and just lobbed a dagger at someone, and she never collected that.
So like
I
that,
hope-
yeah. So if she would have got hit by that other, like man, that
Oh.
That would have been
Yeah.
tragic.
that would have been it if she
Two
was
of
up
those-
front and got
each
hit.
of those,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
Those
Each
are-
I
of
can't wait
those
to
crits
level
would have
up.
auto killed one of our first level. Would have auto killed
Yeah.
all of our first level characters.
That
Yeah.
is crazy.
I have 11 hit points, and that would have been
Yeah,
bad. So
that would have been
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So- But it was
That first
so,
level was
so
like
to
25.
put it in perspective though, there was only one guy who was devastating. Everybody else was like, peon, like regular threats, but he was scary. But that's what's cool is that you guys went for him immediately and knocked him off and like just like kind of winning on that one guy, and that was smart. I was like, okay, cool. They were, because of course, if the guy
charged the
puts
wrong
his
one.
hands to the sky and summons skeletons, you should probably get rid of the guy summoning the skeletons.
mhm.
Yeah.
Bad juju, bad juju.
So it was smart. It was good. It was good.
I
Yeah.
have to
So I
say,
can
I
just
am.
move, bro. You have 50 movement speed, man. Like what the
I
heck?
can move 200 feet in one round.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's stupid.
Monk, Centaur.
At level 3. Wait till it goes up.
Mhm.
I told you at level 9, I break your game.
That's key points,
I'm
though.
sure.
That's key
I'm sure.
points. Yeah. How many key points you gotta do to 200? One?
But this is the game that's meant to be broken.
just one.
That's like you guys are all going to be overpowered with piety and all that shit, and it's going to be broken. It's going to and that's the game. It's that's
Bonus
why we're playing
action.
this is so that you guys feel like champions and you guys are big and bad. But I'm sure that the bosses have what mythic or the mythic encounters.
Yeah.
Say, man.
So the
Bonus
mythic
action is
encounters are basically like
No, we're
if you
not doing
beat
one.
the boss,
We're not doing that.
they get back up and then they power up and then they start all over. So you have
Fuck
to
the mythic
Oh,
encounters.
So if they have
Fuck this
they have
3 health
300
bar
hit
nonsense
points,
bullshit.
they have
No.
600 hit points plus new abilities. That's how it works.
And
Basically
then we're all
new.
like,
I
oh
gave
my god.
Nick one. I gave Nick one in his home campaign. I was like, yeah, this is the deity I worship.
Mythic encounters.
He
are
goes,
insane.
this is stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I'm like, yeah, but I worship
Mhm.
him.
So it's like Nero. Oh yeah, it's like flashing red, and then they're just like, and then it's just like, let's go.
Yeah.
So
That sounds
you.
brutal.
we're gonna have some
That's
fun.
fine. From level 5 and on, I will be back in the back spellcasting. You guys enjoy?
I am.
You guys enjoy
That was
being up front?
also really cool to see Jason like take initiative and rush headlong into battle. That's never been one of your
As the
No
sorcerer?
shit.
Yes.
you like rushed in. You
2
started
campaigns I'm in with this guy, right? And each one of them, he's in the back.
He's always in the back. I've never seen him any other way.
If you could turn into a dragon, you sometimes get in front. Otherwise,
That was fun. Oh man, I'm so excited for the next ones. Oh, so good.
And
I
we're
might-
I
gonna.
just figured with the whole 300 like Jack Snyder stuff, I was like, I needed to have that mobility, the camera angles. I knew you would love